Hey Bear, how's it going? Oh yeah, we were back to Genji, that's where we left off. After Genji finished taking his late meal, he went out to do the nighttime rounds inside the mansion. Eh? I'm sure I'm gonna be fine, but thank you for the heads up. Hey Chidarin, how are you? Alright. He reheated the soup that Goda had started making and ate some random leftovers from the refrigerator. They were all things Goda had made himself and were, of course, delicious. He had half-heartedly gone to ask Rosa and the others what they would do for dinner, but he had been yelled at by a voice telling him that they had canned food. So they were fine, and the door wasn't even opened for him. So, ironically, it was the servant Genji who was able to eat the more delicious meal. Good for him. At least he gets that. But even though all of those crimes had been committed and many people had already met a brutal end, why was it that Genji wasn't afraid to do the round all by himself? Judging by his appearance as he carried out his normal tasks without a trace of fear, as though everything was normal, you might think that all of the horrible events that had happened today were just a dream or an illusion. Yes, I'm pretty sure something played last time that sounded like that, but I wouldn't trust my memory. So I don't know. Oh, that's cute. It's a very appropriate emote. Wait, did I read all of this? You might think that all of the horrible events that had happened today were just a dream or an illusion, yes. Was he taking a philosophic view, or was it simply resignation? Genji must have considered it a virtue to systematically carry out his duty until the last moment, since the fate that awaited him was unavoidable. It would probably be eternally impossible to perceive the depths of his heart unless he told of it himself. Because he had given the master key back to Rosa, the places he could go to were extremely limited. All he could do was walk around the walkways, checking to make sure that the windows were closed. So he was able to go around that route far more quickly than usual. You can't just switch scenes. Come on. After the sound of a moderate knock, Auntie Rosa, who had been falling into a doze shortly before, jumped and woke up, pointing the barrel of the gun at the door as she yelled. I was napping on a sofa, and that voice also brought me back to reality. Oh, please let's stop talking about sleep.
Rosa-sama, Genji de gozaimasu.
何か用なの？扉は開けなくて結構よ。そのままで話して。
はい。それではこのままで失礼させていただきます。南條先生と熊沢の遺体を見つけました。
なんだって。
そう、わかったわ。確認に行きましょう。死体を見ない限り、私は誰も信じない。
大丈夫だよ、バトラー。
Yeah, don't worry, they're proper dead. Yeah.
マリアといれば絶対に大丈夫。
Maybe my face was shadowed with anxiety. Maria grasped my hand with her small hand and spoke softly, trying to give me courage. Since it was Auntie Rosa's job to ready the gun and stand guard, it fell to me to remove the barricade of sofas. When I finished, I took a backward glance at Auntie Rosa, who was pointing the barrel of the gun over my shoulder, and opened the door.
ケンジさん、二人の死体はどこに？
中庭です。 ご案内いたします。
バトラ君待って。念のため部屋の戸締まりを確認していくわ。ちょっと待ってね。
Auntie Rosa called me to a halt to prevent me from going on ahead, and began to carefully check on the locks of each of the windows. But those locks had already been checked once. It felt kind of unpleasant, as though she suspected that I might have secretly unlocked them when she wasn't looking. No, maybe she was right to be this cautious. Even though it was called a courtyard, it wasn't really a pretty place you could take a walk in like the rose garden. On the contrary, since it was surrounded by the mansion on all sides, it made you feel a little discomfort, as though it was telling you that you couldn't escape from the mansion even if you tried to escape to the outside. On the other hand, thanks to that, even though the violent winds could be heard, the wind itself was blocked. Genji-san held out an umbrella, but Auntie Rosa ignored him. She probably wanted to say that the gun took 2 hands, so taking the umbrella would be dangerous because she wouldn't be able to fire the gun. Do guns still work properly if they are absolutely freaking soaked in rain? I don't know. Even without Genji-san pointing his finger, we could tell immediately. Right in the center of the courtyard we could see where Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa lay. It's a sawed-off shotgun, I think. Something similar to that. Auntie Rosa entered the courtyard without even an umbrella. So Genji-san and I also entered the courtyard without opening one. Only Maria had one open like normal.
Maria, これはあれだな。
おお、第7の番と第8の番だね。
なるほど。確かに源氏さんたちが言っていたように2人の首にはひどい傷があるわね。すごく鋭利な、まるで日本刀か何かで切ったかのようにすっぱりね。
That gaping wound on their necks definitely made me want to avert my eyes. But after seeing the Halloween party in the chapel, even though I thought it was horrible, it was no longer enough to make me feel sick. Instead, our gazes were directed to their legs. In Dr. Nanjo's knee, in Kumasawa-san's ankle. Driven into each of them was something like a knife or a stake with a demonic decoration. They would surely be the same as the one that had pierced Jessica's back.
これは何なの?
Yeah, you can see it here a little bit. Something like that. I don't know. It was just a thought. Doesn't matter, not conclusive to the story.
ジェシカちゃんの時と同じね。何かオカルトの儀式のつもりなのかしら。
わかりません。
Ah, okay. If it has a sparks thing, okay, I gotcha.
彼らの遺体を最後に見た時にはこのようなものはありませんでした。使用人室から運び出された後にやられたのでしょう。
The one that had been stuck into Dr. Nanjo's knee was still standing erect, but the one that had been thrust into Kumasawa-san's ankle might have been a little shallower. It had come out and fallen over. Ah, okay, well, there we go. Bear with the information. Thank you, thank you. I wasn't that far off. I recognized it. I generally don't know guns, but there was another thing that we watched a while ago where the sawed-off was involved, and I kind of remembered it. So, it was only when I saw that one that had fallen over that for the first time I realized that it wasn't a knife, but something like a stake. Its full length was probably about 30 centimeters. It was probably made out of bronze or iron or something of the sort. Even without touching it, I could tell that it had some weight to it. It was composed of a grip and a cone-shaped part, and it was obviously made to be a piercing weapon. Maybe you could describe it like a miniature version of those lances Western knights used on horseback. The grooves that had been carved in a spiral shape made it also look like a drill. However, the grip had an occult-like design of a demon or something. So instead of a weapon used in war, it felt like something that would be used in a ritual to offer up a sacrifice.
間違いない。 生贄のつもりなんだな。
第7の番に膝をえぐりて殺せ。第8の番に足をえぐりて殺せ。
待てよ。それじゃ第4、5、6の番が抜けちまう。まさか。
Well, about that. That's right. Why is Genji-san alone? Now you're wondering? If something like this had happened, why wouldn't George Aniki, Goda-san, or Shannon-chan be here? Why was Genji-san alone?
どういうこと？ジョージ君たち3人はどこへ行ったの？
夏日奥様のお部屋を探し物に行きたいと言われまして、お出かけになりました。まだお戻りになりません。
なんだって。その出かけたってのはいつ頃の話なんだよ。
But does this mean that the Twilights happened out of sequence? Because Kumasawa and Nanjo were killed earlier. And also the stakes feel like they were implanted after, especially the one in Kumasawa's leg. So gouge the whatever and kill didn't happen in that order. But anyway, that's like splitting hairs a bit.
2、3時間前のことだと思います。
なんでそんな大事なことをやっちゃなくて、なんで不審に思わなかったんだよ。
常に一人使用人は待機していなくてはなりません。彼らが戻るまで待機しているのが私のお務
I
め
have
でした
to
もの。
agree with Battler though that like in the beginning Genji suggesting that he stayed felt a little off. But I could discard it just on basis of like he's just being, you know, a very, very dutiful servant. But if time passes and there's nothing and he keeps calm like this, I don't know what to think about it. Yeah. Was Genji-san really this much of a robot? Battler and I are on the same wavelength. This is bad, it's really bad. The fact that Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san had been killed in this way meant that 3 people had already been killed. We ran towards Aunt Natsuhi's room, with a touch of anxiety and just as much resignation. Before we even saw the inside of Aunt Natsuhi's room, we were imprisoned by a certain resignation. On that door was bizarre graffiti. No, filth? In any case, the door wasn't in a normal state, and we were able to imagine what was inside that room without opening it. On the face of the door, how should I say it? Someone had heavily painted their hands with the same red paint that the magic circles from before had been drawn with, and had banged on the door, scratched it, dirtied it. It was dirtied like the aftermath of a kindergartner playing in the mud. I didn't know what it could mean. The bright red paint that had been slathered on was dripping down, and even though no one said it, it made us think of blood.
Genji-san, 開けてください。
Auntie Rosa held her gun up high and ordered Genji to open it. Genji-san approached the door without being particularly troubled by that stuff on it and turned the knob, but he immediately turned around, shaking his head. It was locked. Right now, there was only one person in this mansion who could lock and unlock doors at will, Auntie Rosa, in yet another locked room. Yay! This time, Genji-san asked Auntie Rosa to unlock the door instead of the other way around. After making a slightly disgruntled face, Auntie Rosa handed me a master key and told me to open the door.
バトラ君、これで開けてもらえる？
そのくらいのこと、ケンジさんを信用しても。
Yeah. Auntie Rosa glared at me with an intense gaze. Getting into a fight here would only make the environment to her even more sour. Without talking back anymore, I approached that creepy door and tried the knob. It didn't open. It was definitely the resistance of the lock. I stuck the master key into the keyhole. A light resistance. While listening to Auntie Rosa as she told me to be cautious, I opened the door without being particularly cautious at all. And there was the scene laid out before us, not betraying our expectations in the slightest.
ひどい。
やっぱり第4、5、6の番の再現だったな。
おお。
The inside of the room looked as though a robber had just broken in. Drawers were flung open, pulled out, with their contents thrown all over the floor. The room devastated so that it looked nothing like the room of the methodical Aunt Natsuki. But the thing that caught the eye before that was Goda-san's body lying face down right in front of the door. One of those demon stakes had been rammed right into the center of his chest, almost as though it had been stuck there to finish off a vampire. Exactly how far would it have reached after being stuck that deeply into his chest? My own chest hurt just imagining it.
胸をえぐれば第5の番だったが。
おお。
Maria grabbed my hand. Her expression looked just like normal, but maybe she really was afraid of the aura in this room where 3 bodies lay. And along the wall furthest into the room, George Aniki was dead. This time, one of those stakes had been rammed right in the center of his stomach. Gouging the stomach was the 6th twilight, I think. Oh, Shadow. Shadow-chan's body was face down over the front of the dresser, lying in a sea of blood. In its horribly broken mirror, sprayed with blood, had she seen her final worldly expression? I would hope not. Because she was face down, I couldn't see her face, but I could imagine even without seeing it. Nearby, in the sea of blood she lay in, a demon's stake had fallen. Only the 4th twilight was left. Gouge the head and kill. Maybe my heart was completely tired out and dead. Even though I knew what I was doing was wrong, I lifted her head and checked, and confirmed that my guess was right on the mark. There was a gaping hole in Shannon-chan's forehead and her insides were dripping out. Yes, thank you for the description. Not only that, you could even see inside her. No, I'm good. I don't need to know. After seeing that, I finally noticed that what I was doing was wrong. I immediately averted my eyes, but by now it was probably pointless.
こらバトラ君、警察が来るまでそっとしておかないとダメよ。勝手に触ってどういうつもり？せっかくの現場証拠がおかしくなっちゃったらどうするのよ。
Auntie Rosa yelled furiously at me and even yanked the back of my collar. I tottered limply and fell on my butt and gazed dimly up at the ceiling.
マリア、
おお。
これで第8の番まで終わっちまったな。第9の番って何だったっけ？
第9の晩に魔女は蘇り、誰も生き残れはしない。
そっか。これで黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェは復活するんだな。そしてなんだ、最後の第10の晩。
第10の晩に旅は終わり、黄金の里に至るだろう。黄金鏡の扉はもうすぐ開かれるんだよ。もうすぐ。
魔女は蘇り、誰も生き残れはしないか。俺たちはこれから死ぬのか、それともこれで生贄の儀式は終了で俺たちの旅は終わり、黄金鏡へたどり着けるのか。何が俺たちの旅だ。俺たちは今日一日犯人を見つけよう、事態を打開しようと散々頭をひねって何も至れなかった。バカの考え休むに似たりってやつだ。そうさ、俺たちは今日一日ずっと憎悪と疑心暗鬼で自分を焼き焦がした。 死んだ人間しか信用できないって言って、わざわざ3人の死に顔をここまで確認に来たんだぜ。こんな俺たちがどうして黄金鏡とやらにたどり着けるって言うんだよ。
That's right. If nothing could be solved, it would have been much better if we had locked ourselves up the whole time without thinking at all. I want to pet Batora. Aww. Yeah, I think he needs it. Grandfather was the wisest of us. He's been shut up in his room since yesterday without any contact with anyone. That would have been fine. Grandfather was the most correct.
大丈夫だよ、バトラー。マリアといれば大丈夫。魔女はとても気まぐれで、時に面白半分に人間を殺すかもしれない恐ろしい存在だけれども。でも、マリアと一緒にいれば絶対に大丈夫。だから、怯えないで。
ありがとな。気休めでも嬉しいぜ。
After Auntie Rosa finished investigating their deaths, she proclaimed that she would seal this room again, chase the rest of us out, stole back the master key she had lent me, and locked the door again. It seemed that George Aniki had been holding the original key to Aunt Natsuhi's room. She had also collected that. Wait a second. Again. She had all of the master keys in her hand. And if the original key had been shut up inside that room, wasn't this another locked room? So, this is a fourth locked room. Now that we had been released from our suspicion of those three, we once again returned to the parlor. I don't have a clue what's going on anymore. If only the dead are safe and everyone alive is a wolf, then all that's left is me, Auntie Rosa, Maria, and Genji-san, and Kinzo, to be fair. Only those, grandfather and that 19th person, the guest who I hadn't even sensed, Beatrice. 13 people had died and 6 were left. With only 6 people, how would the wolves and sheep puzzle end? Even though the puzzle, which had 19 people in it, had been reduced to a mere 6, I couldn't find any answer. We returned to the parlor. I felt a little anxious that, while we were gone, a creepy magic circle or something might have been drawn on the door to the parlor, but thankfully there was none.
ありがとう、源氏さん。ここまでで結構よ。あなたも今日は休んでください。
かしこまりました。これで休ませていただきます。
おい、ローザおばさん。この状況下で、源氏さんをたった一人で過ごさせるっていうのか。
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
そうね。とても危険なことだと思うわ。でも、ならなぜ彼は無事なの？彼は3人が夏日姉さんの部屋へ向かった後、ずっと一人でいた。なのに無事だった。狼と羊のパズルよ。最も弱い立場となる孤立した羊が無事な理由は何？
狼がたまたまいなかったんだろ？
違うわ。それが羊じゃなかったからよ。
源氏さんが狼だって言うのかよ。
彼は一人で厨房にいたそうだけど、それは証明不能よ。南條先生たちの死体を運んだり、ジョージ君たちを殺したりできたのは、彼かベアトリーチェだけなのよ。
待てよ。その論法じゃ誰だって。
バトラ様、お気遣いをありがとうございます。私は信頼を勝ち得るのは常に100の言い訳ではなく一つの誠実であると信じています。たとえ信頼をいただけなくても私は最後まで誠実でありたいと思います。
なら決まりね。あなたが本当に無実なら、それは明日やってくる警察が証明してくれるわ。だからそれまでの間、あなたを疑いから外すわけにはいかない。
I find it interesting how, in so far, both versions of the story, there was so much hope and faith placed in the police. Oh, the police, they're these, like, superhuman investigators. They're gonna figure out the things that we cannot piece together ourselves. I don't know.
長年、 後宮家に仕えてくれたあなたにこんな仕打ちをするのは本当に心苦しいんだけれど、今夜は分かってください。そして明日になったらもう一度仲直りさせてください。
Genji-san gave his head a small shake.
今日も明日も私は後宮家の使用人であり続けます。
They should have a forensics team at the very least. Yeah, okay, but how advanced was forensics in the 80s, first of all? And second of all, what sense do you make of this situation?
ご用がありましたらいつでもお申し付けください。それでは失礼させていただきます。
After hearing all that, there was nothing left to say. Genji-san bowed deeply and left down the hall. Hey, Desalane. Alright, but still, I don't know. It's just... Maybe they would be able to put together some causes of death. But still, how do you make sense of this? It's like, it's crazy. I don't know, I just have this feeling that the characters themselves are the most knowledgeable ones. Because they know and understand their own family and their dynamics and stuff. Better than any investigator or external person could ever put it together. But that's not very like relevant in any case, but yeah. And we entered the room. Even though Auntie Rosa still held all of the master keys herself, she began another thorough check of the inside of the parlor. She opened the curtains and checked again to make sure the windows were locked. As I watched, how should I say it, I felt like it didn't really matter anymore. If I said anything unnecessary, it would turn into another fight. For a while I gazed at her from the corridor, figured I had waited just about long enough, and entered the parlor behind her. If she can't trust anyone but the dead, she should just go around killing everyone with the gun she's got in her hand. And then in the end she'll realize that she herself was the wolf. And then she can blast through the head of the final wolf and the curtain will close on this insane murdered theater. Ooh, those are some dark thoughts, Battler. As I thought that bitterly, I returned to the sofa where I had been encamped before, and rudely rested both of my feet on the table. Or was about to when I found something there and stopped my feet.
なんだ?
An envelope, of course. Right there, almost as though it was addressed to me, was a Western envelope. It was that envelope from before with the seal of the one-winged eagle. And it was unopened. I see. But I have the feeling like none of them are gonna be left. Just like before, so yeah. Wait. What's this? When? Who put it in a place like this? I had been sitting here the whole time until I went with everyone to check the corpses. And there hadn't been anything. And when I returned, it was here. In the end, the witch did it, yes. Roll the credits. Pull down the curtains, we're done.
戸締まりに問題はないわ。この部屋は安全よ。
I heard Rosa muttering that. Wait. wait. We had made sure this room was safe when we exited it. We had checked that the windows were all perfectly locked. And we had locked it, come back, and the windows were still locked. Then wait, who had put this letter here now? I opened the letter. 2 pieces of stationery came out. The first page had a magic circle drawn on it in something like blood. If I asked Maria, she'd probably know what it meant. And there was writing on the other page.
気分の謎解きは進んでおりますか？もうじきあっさり時間切れ。第9の番はもうじき始まります。
There was no mistake. It was a letter from Beatrice.
ほう、バトラー、それは。
ああ、今ここに来たら、置いてあった。
どうしたのマリア？バトラ君、その手紙は？
いや、ここに置いてあったんだ。どうしてだよ。 この部屋はちゃんと戸締まりをしていたのに。
A theory, Genji steals everyone's stocks of chill pills and takes them alone. That's why he's always the only one relaxed. I see. I wouldn't blame him if he did that.
どうしてだよ。どうして。
マリア、いらっしゃい。
Auntie Rosa closed her eyes just a little and after silently thinking something told Maria to come. Maria obeyed her mother's words. As she did, something unbelievable happened. I was just thinking that she's gonna accuse Battler of it because he had opened it without like showing that, hey, this was here, it was new, whatever. Auntie Rosa pointed the barrel of that gun at me.
バトラ君、あなたを狼だと断定するわ。
And the circus continues.
私はこの部屋にたった今帰ってきて、そのテーブルの上に何もないことを見ているわ。そしてマリアがそのテーブルに近づいていないことも知っている。わずかな時間よ。でもこのテーブルに近づき、そして手紙を見つけたと主張するのはあなただけなのよ。
そんなのって、いや、めちゃくちゃだ。なんで俺がこんなものを置くんだよ。おいおい、俺は不審なものを見つけて報告しただけだぜ。なんで俺が疑われるんだよ。
あなたにしかその手紙をそこへ置けないからよ。そう、これは自作自演。あなたが懐から封筒を取り出し、たった今見つけたかのように振る舞った。密室の中に魔女が入って手紙を置いていった幻想を作り出すためにね。
バカ野郎。またそういう考えなのかよ。そんなことで俺まで疑うのかよ。いい加減にしろ。俺は親父たちを殺されてるんだぞ。そんな俺がどうして犯人の片棒を担がなければならないんだよ。
そうね、たとえ莫大なお金がもらえるとしたとしても、そんなことで肉親の命を切り売りできるような悪魔がいるなんて信じたくないわ。でもね、いるかもしれない。言い方が悪いわね。例えばバトラ君にとってルドルフ兄さんたちが親でなかったとしたら。
はあ、何を言い出すかと思えば、親父は親父だろうが。確かにキリエさんと血縁はねえが、俺の姉貴も同然のお人だ。そこだけは聞き捨てならねえぞ、この野郎。
言うのをやめなさい。ごめんなさい、言い方が悪かったわね。確かに後ろ宮バトラ君はルドルフ兄さんの子供かもしれない。でもあなた本当にルドルフ兄さんの息子のバトラ君なの？
何をわけのわかんねえこと。俺がバトラじゃねえんなら誰に見えるってんだよ。
ルドルフ兄さんも含めて私たちは6年ぶりにあなたを再会している。
I see where she's going. Okay.
あなたが本当に後ろ宮バトラかなんて誰も証明できないのよ。あなたは本当は後ろ宮バトラじゃなくて、後ろ宮家の財産をうまく騙し取ろうと紛れ込んだ何者かかもしれない。あなた自分が後ろ宮バトラだとはっきり証明できる？
Yeah, right now. Pull out the DNA test results, Battler.
今この場で。
Yeah, right now.
いい加減にしやがれ。俺は俺だ。後ろ宮バトラだ。そこまで疑い出したら、あんただって本当に後ろ宮ローザなのかよ。自分は自分だ。他の誰でもね。ああ、そうだな。あんたの言う通りだぜ。死体以外で信用できるのは自分だけってわけだ。そこまで言うなら反論させてもらうぜ。ジョージの兄貴たちが死んでいた夏日おばさんの部屋には鍵がかかってた。部屋の鍵はジョージの兄貴が持っていたんだろう。そしてマスターキーを持ってるのは今やローザおばさんだけだぜ。あの部屋に施錠できたのはあんただけじゃねえかよ。俺の推理じゃこうだ。あんたは真犯人と通じ合っていて、俺たちの目を盗み5つのマスターキーのうちの1つを こっそり貸し出したんだ。
そんなことしないわよ。ほらここに5つあるわよ。
そんなのは当てになるもんか。あらかじめ取り決めた場所に置かせて回収したかもしれねえじゃねえかよ。それにマスターキーが5個かどうかは疑わしいと言ってたのはあんただぜ。
じゃああなたはその封筒をあなた以外の誰がどうやってそこに置いたというのよ。それが証明できない限りあなたが狼なのよ。
うるせえ。
Yeah.
ならあんたこそ証明しろよ。犯人はどうやってジョージの兄貴たちをあの密室で殺せたと言うんだよ。どうやって施錠したと言うんだよ。
まったくにもってその通り。夏日の部屋も全く同じだぞ、いつもの通り。
How? What does that even mean? It was exactly the same, just like usual.
扉も窓も内側から施錠されていた。いかなるイカ様も細工もなく、そして隠された通行手段もなければ隠れる場所もない。
Okay.
夏日自身の鍵はジョージのポケットに入って室内に閉じ込められていた。あとは5本のマスターキーしかないが、それは全てローザが持っている。ついでに言おう、その客間も同じよ。本来の客間の鍵は使用人室に封印されている。だからマスターキー以外では解錠不能。部屋の密室定義もいつもに同じよ。おいおい、容疑者はもう1人しかいねえぜ。それでもまだかまととぶんのかよ、後ろ宮バトラ
うるせえ。てめえも黙ってろ。
黙るのはあなたの方でしょ。あなた以外にどうやってその手紙を置けたというの。それが証明できない限りあなたは狼なのよ。
俺が疑えるってんならあんただって疑えるぜ。あんたこそ証明してみろ。最初に部屋に入って戸締まりの確認だのを始めたのはローザおばさんじゃねえかよ。そして俺の座っていた場所に再び俺が戻るだろうことを見越し、これはあんたの罠だって疑うこともできるんだぜ。
どうして私がそんな罠を。私が狼ならこの銃で問答無用で撃ってるわよ。
そんなのじゃ理由にならねえな。マリアの目の前で殺人ができねえからうまく罠にかけようって回りくどいことしてるかもしれねえじゃねえか。マスターキーは全てあんたの手にある。ならここもさっきも全部あんたの仕業じゃねえかよ。言い逃れできるってんなら言い訳を聞かせてみろよ。そうさ、ローザおばさんは最初から怪しいんだよ。なんで親族会議の大人たちが6人殺されたのにローザおばさんだけが例外なんだ。なんでローザおばさんだけがあの礼拝堂にいなかったんだ。一つしか理由がねえよ。ローザおばさんが親父たちをあそこに招いて殺したんだ。くそくそ、それで全部説明がつくじゃねえかよ。ふざけんじゃねえ、ふざけんじゃねえ。わけのわかんねえことを言うんじゃねえ。
Maria thrust herself in between me and Auntie Rosa, both of us incensed. I was taken aback by Maria's crying voice and returned to my senses. At that instant, I became filled with shame. Tears flowed from my eyes. Ay, ay, ay.
そうなんだよ。全部魔女のせいだったんじゃないかよ。鍵がどうこうとかトリックだのアリバイだの全部バカ。魔女の仕業なのに俺たちは同じ人間同士を信じ合うこともできなくてなあ、ローザおばさん、人間の犯人なんて最初からいなかったんだ。全部魔女の仕業だったんだ。 だから、ローザおばさんが犯人のわけがないし、俺やマリアだって、そして、源氏さんだって他のみんなだって、犯人のわけがないんだ。どうしてこんなことに。俺はどうして、大好きだったローザおばさんとこんなことの隣り合いをしてるんだよ。優しくって。大好きだったおばさんとどうしてこんな罵り合いをしてるんだよ。なんでみんなで疑い合わなくちゃならねえんだよ。おばさんを疑ってなんかいないんだ。誰も疑ってなんかないんだ。全部魔女の仕業だったんだ。ベアトリーチェの仕業だったんだ。全部ベアトリーチェが魔法で行った事件だったんだ。ベアトリーチェ頼むからここに現れてくれよ。そして自分が全てやったと俺たちに告白してくれよ。もうごめんだ。こんな疑り合いはごめんなんだ。だから俺たちを許してくれ。解放してくれ。互いの死を見届け合う。俺に優しい親戚たちを、いとこたちを返してくれよ。もう嫌だ、全部嫌だ。お前は確かに実在する。お前の勝ちだ。姿を見せてくれよ。ベアトリーチェ。
Somehow I feel like I preferred Kinzo's yelling than this. No.
ベアトリーチェ。
Battler, come on. You're better than this.
私はまだ生きているのか。
Kinzo seemed to have fallen into a doze at some point. He searched for his spectacles and looked at the clock. It was 10 p.m.
あやつの儀式ははてどこまで進んだのか。時間的にはもうだいぶ進んでいなくてはならぬ頃だ。
Kinzo lifted his heavy body from the chair and approached the portrait of the witch that he had gazed at every day.
ベアトリーチェ、もうじきお前の微笑みに再会できる。死んでもいい。お前の微笑みがもう一度見られるならこの命は惜しくない。だから交渉だ。お前にもう一度会わせてくれ。そして愛を誓わせておくれ。私の罪を謝らせておくれ。だが逃がさん。お前は私のものだ。
The biggest twist of the chapter, Kinzo is the calmest person on the island. To be honest, I prefer very, very much just listening to his like crazy ramblings than seeing Battler fallen so below himself. Like,
髪の毛の一本からつま先まで爪の赤すらも私のものなのだ。お前の肉一片までも全て私のもので、その亡骸の煮汁まで私のものなのだ。
One of my favorite Kinzo scenes right there. Oh, really? Which part? No, and I'm seriously asking because to me this just all sounds like the ramblings of a crazy old person.
逃がさん。今度こそこの手からこぼさん。
Crazy obsessed old person with a twinge of mania for control, something like that.
お前を永遠に私のものにしてやるぞ。
But this is in line with the Kinzo we've seen thus far, so I'm not
二度と逃
surprised.
がすものか。二度と逃がすものか。
I just probably hoped a little bit more from Battler, but yeah, it's okay. It is a difficult situation to process. Maybe he will wisen up later on. Kinzo howled in rage, then suddenly fell to his knees as he shook and scraped at the wall. In an instant, he had started sobbing.
違う。私が言いたいのはこんなことじゃないんだ。ベアトリーチェ
He keeps doing this thing in which he keeps going like this duality kind of thing of like, oh, I wish I could just see you, but you belong to me, you're mine, even the broth of your corpse is mine, I will never let you go. Oh, but no, that's not what I meant to say.
頼む。
Like,
もう一度会わせてくれ。
okay.
謝らせてくれるだけでいい。ベアトリーチェ
I'm the best kids.
私が間違っていた。お前が微笑んでさえくれれば他には何もいらなかったんだ。私が間違えた。私がそれを間違えて取り返しのつかないことをしてしまった。
The most sane Beatrice enjoy. Yeah, definitely. His duality makes him fascinating. Yeah, I mean, there is definitely something there underneath the surface. Because I can't imagine he just like woke up one day and decided to be like this. And I'm interested in discovering what that is. But I can't say that I'm enjoying very, very much what's like being put before me right now. It's just make up your mind, man.
残りのすべての人生を捧げた。お前に詫びるために私の罪を償うためにすべて捧げたんだ。頼む。私の死の際でもいい。せめてお前に一言謝らせて。ベアトリーチェ
As Kinzo shook and cried, behind his small back a butterfly appeared out of nowhere like a flake of gold leaf and softly fell down. You fool, Kinzo. Do you think a woman exists who would fall for a man's tears? Well, even if it wouldn't make a human woman fall for you, it might for a woman who is not human. Kinzo, do you remember? The board position of our chess game, which we never finished. Kinzo, as though he had suddenly remembered something, approached to the chess set. The game he had been playing with Nanjo until yesterday remained there still. He wiped the pieces from the chessboard with a wide sweeping motion and began to line them up again one by one. It was the setup for a game in progress.
そうだ。こうだ。私はクイーンを勧めた。とても良い妙手だった。お前には少々きつすぎるかもしれん一手だった。お前は駒を見捨てるか見捨てないかに悩み、ずっと悩み。
Kinzo waited with the opposite seat empty. Surely, very soon his opponent would appear there and he would be able to restart this game again. You fool, Kinzo. You want to apologize? You want to see my face again? You want to make my smile an eternal thing? Why can't you say a much simpler word? Even though that is the single element of the world. At that time, Kinzo muttered. A prayer? An entreaty? It was probably best to just call it muttering.
お前を 愛しているベアトリーチェ。
They were pure words, like something an innocent child would say, without any evil intent. You really are a fool, Kinzo. If you ever have the chance to do your life over again, know that those words could never cause a woman to fall for you. Yes, not without a miracle. So this... Just then, Kinzo definitely heard a small knock, with a different tempo than those of the servants.
誰だ？
The woman beyond the door didn't answer.
誰かと聞いておる。返事をせぬか。
The woman beyond the door didn't answer.
まさか。おお、まさか。ベアトリーチェなのか。ベアトリーチェ、ベアトリーチェ。
The woman beyond the door answered. On the ninth twilight the witch revives, and none shall be left alive. What does that mean? Battler could be found in the dining hall. Unable to summon the will to return to the guest house in the middle of this rain, he had wandered half-heartedly around the mansion in search of a random place to sit, and had stationed himself in the dining hall. He hadn't bothered to lock it. He did think that maybe the shapeless murderer or the golden witch might come to kill him now that he was isolated. But he no longer thought about resisting that. Well, there is definitely a very deep, profound feeling that has had a lot of time there to develop or to fester. It could go both ways given the duality of Kinzo. I just wish we will get to see more of it, because I want to understand. So far it hasn't really been explained. The relationship they had and his attachment to her. On the contrary, he had no intention of blocking the culprit with a lock. He wanted that person to come at him openly, from the front. If it was a murderer, he thought he'd ask them to tell about some of those wonderful locked room tricks as a parting souvenir. And if it was a witch, he thought he'd ask her to at least take his life with some wonderful magic. However, ironically, neither of those two came to meet Battler. Battler opened the liquor cabinet on his own and enjoyed the liquor to his heart's content. Oh no. Inebriated Battler, I don't know what to say about that. No longer was there anybody anywhere who would have a problem with him drinking alcohol. Well, I do have a problem, because then you are an even more... an even less trustworthy narrator or character from whose perspective we're seeing the story, so I'm not liking that. He boldly set both of his legs on the extravagant tablecloth and savored the high-quality liquor, which probably had a mind-boggling price, straight from the neck of the bottle. Battler, yes. And also me with my tea. At that time, someone knocked. Battler realized that he was about to meet his maker.
おー、鍵なんかかかってねえぜ。誰でも入ってきてくれ。そして自己紹介を頼むぜ。人間なら名前を名乗ってくれ。ベアトリーチェだってんなら3サイズを教えてくれ。
The one time where I like this joke. Yes.
そりゃこう見えてもちょいと知られたおっぱいソムリエなんだぜ。
なんだっけ。
源氏でございます、バトラ様。
源氏さんか。悪いがあんたのバストのサイズに興味はねえな。入ってくれよ。空いてるぜ。
失礼いたします。
Genji-san opened the door and bowed. So Genji-san was the culprit after all, or maybe an accomplice. That theory would probably explain most of the tricks.
あんたが俺に引導を渡しに来たのかい？
そのようなことはございません。お邪魔なようでしたら失礼いたします。
Battler can be pretty smooth sometimes. He comes across as a doofus, but he has quite a big female following. How does he know?
おいおい、要件も伝えず失礼しますじゃかえって気持ち悪いぜ。何の用だよ。最後くらい好きにさせてくれ。
バトラ様は死せる最後のわずかな時間をそのように怠惰に過ごされることをお望みですか？
Those words stung. Of course it wasn't.
今さら何ができるってんだ。俺はいつだって死ぬ準備はできてるぜ。
親方様と同じですな。
Ooh, okay.
本当にあなたは親方様の血を色濃く受け継がれている。
No one is as smooth as Ricky with Nezu's voice. Oh, Chizurin. But I wouldn't have expected that remark. I don't know how I feel. You're sweet though, you're sweet.
あの豪傑なじい様が実はいつ死んでもいいと思ってたってのか。
Got 9 heroines plus Kyosuke.
それは初耳だぜ。
親方様の人生はいくつかの悲しい出来事の末、すべて贖罪のためのものとなり果てたのです。
あんたは何を知っているんだ？
Oh god, guys. Okay. I will just... I will try to soak in that, but I don't have a reaction or a reply. Sorry.
ベアトリーチェ様の儀式も第8の晩までをすべて終えました。もうすべてをお話ししてもよいかと思います。
なんだって？
I don't want to... I don't want to get too excited about it because I don't want to be disappointed. But information, please, give me some. Jesus. My drunkenness was completely blown away. I lowered my feet from the table and listened carefully to hear what kind of words Genji-san would say next.
バトラ様、親方様の書斎へご案内申し上げます。親方様たちに直接お話を聞かれるのがよろしいでしょう。
If he's still alive, because I don't know what happened there.
たち。
Yeah, what is the them?
おい、それは一体どういう？
さあ、こちらへ。
へえ？
ご案内申し上げます。バトラ様。
After Genji-san told me to follow him, he started to walk down the corridor. I sobered up completely and went after him. We climbed the big staircase towards the 3rd floor. Genji-san stopped walking halfway. Time for the big reveal. The other 6 episodes are just a really long epilogue. No, I'm not expecting everything to be revealed right now, but I feel like we have gone through so much in this chapter. And yeah, there was something to be gained, particularly in terms of character backstories and like just character development in general. But I want some like solid information about the thing that's murdering everyone and like the where everything is coming from, right? So if this is a promise that I will get something, not everything, but at least something new, I'm excited. And at the same time, I'm trying to be like not too expectant of a big thing, you know, because it might not be that. Okay. Okay. Right, so Genji-san stopped walking halfway. He then turned back and spoke.
バトラ様、これよりバトラ様は理解できぬものを見るでしょう。
脅すなよ。理解できねえもんなら今日嫌になるほど見てるぜ。
見えるものを見えるがままに、聞こえるものを聞こえるがままに受け入れ
World
て
and
ください。
Dominator. Okay, I will pay attention to that.
なぜも何も何も必要ありません。バトラ様はただ真実を知ることになるでしょう。それをお認めになるかお信じになるか、あるいは否定されるかも、すべてバトラ様にお任せいたします。
Genji-san checked one last time to see whether I was prepared to learn the truth. The 8th twilight had already ended, and on the 9th twilight the witch revives, and none shall be left alive. It meant that Beatrice had already revived, and probably none of us would be allowed to return alive. If I was going to lose my life anyway, I wanted to know the truth at the end. Yeah, well, what is the truth? It's just the general question around which we've been spinning this whole time. It didn't matter how hard it might be to accept.
ああ、鬼が出ようと魔女が出ようと覚悟はできてるぜ。
本当にあなたは親方様の若き頃にそっくりだ。バトラ様、どうかご勉学にお励みを。あなたは将来必ずや大きな志を持たれるでしょう。
future everyone's dying.
そしてその時、足りぬ学力に一生後悔されることがありませんよ。
勉学に勤しめる機会がもらえるならぜひな。
Genji-san's silence forced me to consider that resignation of mine more deeply. And we could see the door of grandfather's study impregnated with a sweet smell. From his pocket, Genji-san withdrew a gold key with an elegant design. The master keys had been confiscated by Auntie Rosa, but the key to the study alone he had kept with him. He put it in the keyhole and it made a heavy clunking sound.
親方様、源氏です。バトラ様をお連れいたしました。
He's not there anymore, is he? There was no reply, but it seemed that permission to go in had been given.
さあ、バトラ様、どうぞ。
ああ、入るぜ。
I readied myself and threw the door open. At that moment, I got slightly disoriented by the dazzling golden glow. It was somehow a swarm of butterflies shining gold. The golden butterflies that were completely filling the inside of the study poured out all at once.
なんだこりゃ。
It was almost like golden leaf confetti. The interior grandfather's study was filled with a golden glow. And there were reception sofas and a table for guests placed in front of the study desk, and I could see grandfather's back. There was someone on the side opposite from grandfather. It was in shadow, so I couldn't see it
親
well.
方様、バトラ様をお連れしました。
バトラか。
Okay, so he's alive.
今思考が忙しい。しばし沈黙せよ。
Kinzo declared that in displeasure, his back still turned. It seemed that he was enjoying playing chess with the visitor. Apparently, the opponent had counterattacked with a superb move. Kinzo seemed to be enjoying himself as he thought deeply, while occasionally laughing and groaning.
30年考えた。この一手をどう切り返すか。30年考えたぞ。楽しめ。30年を寝かせた我が一手を楽しめ。
まことにこの一手は味わい深き熟成された一手よ。
Okay.
楽しい楽しい。かなわぬかなわぬ。
Yeah, he is,
これ
isn't
はなんだってんだ。
来たかバトラ。しばらく待て。金蔵のために沈黙を。まだリザインは早いぞ金蔵。 わらわならもう数手は切り返せる。
It should have been my first meeting with that witch. However, I knew this witch. Even though it was our first meeting, I knew her from the portrait.
源氏、バトラのために飲み物を振る舞え。この男によりふさわしきやつは何か？
若き日より親方様が愛されている。いつ
それが良いぞ。振る舞ってやれ。よくぞ来たな。後宮バトラ、まずは座れ。そなたはわらわの名を何度も呼んだな。それに免じ、わらわとの面会を許した。そしてお前は、わらわに何を聞く？何を尋ねるのか。黄金鏡の扉はもうじき開かれる。魔女たちを迎え入れてのわらわの復活を祝う宴はもうじきだぞ。それまでの間、お前の問いにいくらでも答えてやろう。
聞きてえことは山ほどある。この島で何が起こった？そして、どうしてこんな事件が起こった？密室についても聞きたい。礼拝堂は？ジェシカの部屋は？シオニー室は？夏代おばさんの部屋は？そして客場は？聞きたいことはまだまだある。魔女の正体は？本当にベアトリーチは魔女なのか？何が目的だ？俺たちに何をさせたい？俺をなぜここへ呼んだんだ？答えろ、すべてだ。
やかましい。問えば答えは返るのか？
そういうな金蔵。もろく儚い雲の巣もヘロデの王から守ってくれることもある。この世に無駄なものなどないように無駄な質問もまたない。よいよい、すべての質問に答えようぞ。ただし条件が一つだけある。
なんだ？
すべてを聞き、わらわの存在に納得できたなら、ひざまずき、わらわの靴にキスをせよ。お前を屈服させたくて、わらわはここへ呼びつけたのだから。
Beatrice with her kinks
わら
again.
わと金蔵は賭けをした。金蔵が次の手をひらめくのと、わらわがそなたを屈服させるのと、どちらが早いかだ。負ける気はせぬぞ。
でけえ口を叩きやがって。ああ、いいぜ。俺を納得させてみろよ。お前が間違いなく魔女様で、不思議で素敵な大魔法を使えるってことを納得させてみろよ。屈服したなら、キスでも何でもくれてやる。
The witch cackled gloatingly. Ugh, then she glared at him unpleasantly with eyes that said that man can't go back on his word.
よくぞ言った。さて、どの問いから答えようか。すべて答えるぞ。さあ、まずは何からだ。
Yeah, we get the credits again. Such a tease, I hate it. And the witch began to tell of everything. She started providing answers to all of Battler's questions. Everyone made logical sense, everyone satisfied him, and Battler was forced to admit witches truly did exist. Yeah, geez, thank you, I'm so satisfied with that. The rest is a story that did not be told. After toppling the king and resigning, all that remains is to reflect upon one's moves and set the pieces up once more. And then the witch revealed the whole truth. The end. Fuck it. Second game, turn of the Golden Witch result. Ugh. Ushiromiya Kraus died on the first twilight, chosen by the key to the Golden Land and sacrifice, same as Natsuhi, Eva, Hideyoshi, Rudolph, Kirie. Oh, I hate it so much. Jessica died on the second twilight, back pierced by the stake of Asmodeus. Canon died on the second twilight, chest pierced by the stake of Satan. Shannon died on the 4th twilight, forehead gouged by the stake of Mammon. Goda died on the 5th twilight, chest gouged by the stake of Beelzebub. George, 6th twilight, stake of Lucifer. Nanjo, 7th. Kumasawa, 8th. You can read those. Yeah. The witch Beatrice revived on the 9th twilight. She will finally open the door to the Golden Land. Ushinomiya Kinzo, missing on the 10th twilight, accepted the witch, prostrated himself, and was invited to the Golden Land. Rosa, the same. She denied the existence of the witch and was not invited. Maria accepted the witch, prostrated, was invited. Genji accepted the witch and was invited. Battler, missing on 10th twilight, will he accept the witch and be invited to the Golden Land? The witch shall praise the wise and grant 4 treasures in the Golden Land. There they chose to revive the souls of the dead and the love they possessed, because what they desired could not be gained from a mountain of gold, no matter how high. For Kinzo, his lost loved one. For Maria, the lost love of her mother. For Genji, a peaceful sleep. Rest in peace, Beatrice. May your slumber never be disturbed again. The winner of the gold is the Golden Witch Beatrice. Since of the 18, none solved the riddle of the gold in time. All 18 died. When the seagulls cried, none were left alive. And then there were none. Genji's literally just tired. Poor Genji. Genji relatable. Yeah, no, I totally feel him. Oh my god. Hey Zeku. Missed everything. I would argue you missed absolutely nothing, my friend.
どこなの？ベアトリーチェ！
Okay, what is this?
姿を見せなさい！ベアトリーチェ！
Rosa finally arrived at the chapel. What is this music? She pointed her gun around her, screaming the witch's name, but there was no way there would be an answer. It's like, it's too whimsical for, like, I don't know, the juxtaposition of the music with Rosa holding the gun and yelling, it kind of like, I don't know, it kind of didn't work for me. Wait, the best part. Okay, let's see. After grimacing slightly, she noisily approached the table where her siblings' corpses were still exposed and stretched out her arm towards the gold ingots. They were very heavy, but Rosa paid that no regard. She wrapped one of them up in the blanket and slung it over her shoulder.
せめてこの一つだけでも
World and Dominator soon,
これだけ
okay?
でも1000万以上の価値があるはず
Rosa did not part with her gun either, carrying the gold in addition to it. Her shoulders were screaming, but Rosa didn't care.
もうすぐだね。もうすぐ黄金鏡の扉が開く。
その気持ち悪い声で笑うのをやめなさい。ベアトリーチェはどこにいるの？ええ、分かってるわ。どこかにいるんでしょ？あなたは知ってるんでしょ？どこ？
知らない。探さなくても黄金鏡で会えるよ。
その笑いをやめなさい。私が笑いたいくらいよ。そうね。あれは間違いなく魔女だったわ。間違いなく魔女だった。私は分かってなかった。魔女を名乗る人間だと信じてた。違う。
Didn't it say earlier that she denied the witch? I'm so confused.
私はあんなのにごまかされないわよ。いるんでしょ？出てきなさい。姿を現しなさい。ベアトリーチェ！
だからもうすぐ現れるよ。黄金鏡の扉が開かれるよ。
そうだ、それでよかったのだ。構わぬ。ルークを捨てるぞ。持てるものすべてを失う覚悟がなければ至ることもできぬキングがお前という女なのだ。追い詰めるぞ、ベアトリーチェ。
せめてクイーンと言え。ほう、なかなかに妙手。諦めの悪さがそなたの。 いや、後ろ宮の地下。
心地よし。実に優雅な夜だ。うわ
親方様、ベアトリーチェ様、そろそろ宴の時間でございます。
もうか、早い。お前と過ごす夜はいつも早く。月がリンゴのように落ち、川面より跳ねる小魚のように日が昇るのだ。
Okay.
行こうではないか。時間だ。立て。バトラ、わらわの復活を祝う宴の始まりだ。わらわの新しい家具。いや、玩具として紹介しようぞ。俺キレキの魔女たちに。
The witch was relaxing elegantly, her feet thrown out from the sofa and sitting on top of a footrest. However, the footrest wasn't a part of the sofa. It was a human! Oh my god, Battler. Witch was down on all fours.
ベアトリーチェ様、お召し替えのドレスでございます。
主賓はお前だが、ホストは私だ。私は先に出ていよう。着付けの手伝いにシャノンでもおればよかったが、あいにく残れなかったようだな。
Oh, wait, really? And what am I supposed to do about that?
使いたい時にいつもおらぬ。つくづく使えんやつよ。しかし、お前はよく残ってくれた。嬉しいぞ、我が友よ。
ありがたいお言葉です。
よい。二人とも先に下で待て。源氏、ご苦労。そのドレスはそこへ置いていけ。
かしこまりました。それでは親方様。
我らは先に行こう。ベアトリーチェ、後ほどな。
うん。
Okay. Oh, thank you. I was worried. I didn't know what am I supposed to do because I don't know what's coming. Right, I'm doing this completely blind. After that, only the witch and the dress and the furniture remained. And the furniture.
なぜわらわがそなたに肌を見せることを恥じぬかわかるか。そなたは家具だからだ。家具。
Okay, now I'm gonna have to think of all the furniture that's around me when I change clothes. That's weird. Oh god.
わかるか。家具だよ、家具。家具に体をさらして恥じる者がどこにいよう。だからお前にわらわは恥じる必要がない。
The witch stood up and removed her jacket just at the shoulders. The jacket slumped down at the back. When the furniture respectfully approached to pick up her clothing, the witch gave it a small kick and it fell over. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! That's bad! That's bad! That's bad! That's bad! Ouch! 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 The furniture was afraid of what misconduct it had shown.
そなたは家具の分際でわらわに自らボタンを外させるつもりなのか。立て。
I'm not even gonna comment on that.
そしてこのボタンを外せ。一つずつ丁寧に早く美しく粗相なく客人たちを待たせてしまうぞ。早くわらわを着替えさせろ。
Oh my gosh. That's terrible. Oh, the joke.
丁寧に外すのだぞ。そなたの目玉一つよりも高価なボタンであるぞ。間違ってちぎるようなことがあったなら、代わりにそなたの目玉を縫い付けてやる。
The entrance hall was bustling with a large number of figures, and it was sparkling gold with the gold butterflies flying around. The gentlemen in suits and tuxedos and the ladies in dresses looked like they were having a great number of friendly chats. At a glance, it might have looked like a fabulous medieval ball. But they all had one thing in common, and the thing was exceedingly bizarre, because all of them had goat heads. It was impossible to tell whether it was a goat mask masquerade or whether they really had goat heads. The latter was a ridiculous notion, but in this bizarre world, there was serious doubt about which was true. Kinzo was amongst those goat nobles greeting them. Every one of them seemed to be an honored guest, and Kinzo greeted them more respectfully than could have been imagined from his normal demeanor. At that time, Genji's voice rang out through the hall. It was a voice calling for silence. That voice stopped the voices of idle chatter, and everyone turned to face Genji.
今宵復活を遂げましたる我らが黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェ卿のご入場でございます。皆様拍手をもってどうかお迎えください。
When Genji began to applaud, it quickly spread through the guests and became thunderous applause. And the Golden Witch appeared at the top of the large staircase. She gracefully waved her hands as she slowly descended the staircase with her preferred furniture in tow. The goat nobles offered unanimous words of celebration in some long-forgotten language, and those with whom she was closely acquainted embraced her, filled with joy at their reunion. As the witch offered greetings of reunion, the witch's furniture followed behind her the whole time. There was a chain around his neck. Battler, this is so fucking beneath you. This hurts me. My heart is breaking. No. This was gripped in the witch's hand like it was a trained dog. The chain wasn't there to restrain it. The only purpose of the restraining device was to injure the furniture's dignity. It wasn't permitted to wear anything else on its body. One of the young woman goats mixed in with the goat nobles. Aww. Burn softly removed her goat mask as the furniture passed in front of her and spoke with eyes that had no light in them. That face looked like it belonged to a long-haired young girl. It's been 9 episodes. There she is.
哀れね。
おお、ベルンカステル卿。これはようこそおいでよ。
It's good the text is covering most
わらわ
of
の
the
家具を気に入られたか？
いい趣味ね。
After saying only that, the witch called the burnt castle once again put on her goat mask and was swallowed up in the shadows of the other tall goats.
負け惜しみを悔しがってるのよ。
違いないな。
The young women goats giggled, and the witch once again let out a high-pitched laugh.
今宵はわらわのためによく集まってくれた。久々に古今東西の旧友たちが集う魔女の宴を存分に楽しもうではないか。さあ、今宵を食い明かし、飲み明かし、すすり明かし、食いちぎり明かして、とことん楽しもうではないか。時計を見よ。終わりの時間と始まりの時間が溶け合う時を指すぞ。さあ、魔女の宴を始めよ
I'm happy. I didn't need that in my life. When the witch proclaimed the beginning of the banquet, the large clock pointed at 24:00 and the sound of a bell began to ring out loud. That's so weird for me to read, but I understand. It's a Japanese thing.
今こそ黄金の扉を
All at once the butterflies leafed in gold flew all around the inside of the room. Amidst the golden storm and the brilliant gold-colored light, the cross-section joining this world and a different world was cut open. I'm so sorry, Chidori! Amidst the ghosts' delighted voices, the mention of the human world and the mention of those not human overlapped. And in the form of golden butterflies, all those folk who praised the resurrection of the Golden Witch poured out of the depths of hell. It was a golden tornado. A rondo of golden demons. Come, tonight we will put aside rank. Throw open the wine cellar, drop the snake's head into the liquor pot. Throw cows and chickens into the furnace alive. Oh my god! Drink and eat and sing and dance. Sneer and kill and desecrate and degrade.
Beatrice! 今こそ私を黄金鏡へ黄金鏡へ
The goat nobles were suddenly crushing in around Kinzo. Almost like they were kids demanding the autograph of some famous movie star. Peak Kinzo yelling. I don't know what the peak is anymore. We heard him yelling so much. There were two differences. First, they were witches, not kids. And second, what the witches demanded were not autographs. Kinzo began to drown in the sea of goat nobles. Only Kinzo's laughing voice echoed throughout the area. It was a grand mixture of laughter and his death throes. And Kinzo became wine and meat and bread. An aroma if slurped, a rich taste if gnawed, and pleasant to tear to bits. The voice of his death throes lingered on sweetly, and adorned with melted chocolate and silver dragées, it would make a wonderful dessert. Yeah, this type of food reference doesn't do anything for me. Not at all. If you took the bones home, you could also use them for a soup, and the remains could even become toys for the children to play with. And they could also become good tools for fortune-telling that always gave misfortune. Oh my god. Oh man. That entire scene was watched by the piece of furniture. It was all fantastical. It was all demonic. It was the quaking of its heart, which should have been paralyzed, proof that it could still yield ear. Just then, its knees buckled and the furniture's body tumbled onto the center of the carpet. Wasn't he already on his knees? Alright. Because the witch had kicked those knees from behind.
ひざまずき敬意を示せ。額を絨毯にこすりつけて、おのがみの癒しさを示せ。両手を後ろで組み、血肉のすべてをわらわに捧げることを誓え。
The piece of furniture let out a painful voice. Fear is the most primal emotion humans have. Was that emotion reviving his sense of self, which should already have been killed?
まだまだわらわの家具にはふさわしくないか。よい、じっくりそなたを。わらわ好みの、そしてわらわにのみふさわしい家具に仕上げてやる。今のそなたにできるのは、せいぜい客人の方々を楽しませることくらいか。
The goat nobles were surrounding the cowering furniture. It seemed that their blazing blood-red eyes couldn't hide their ecstasy at this new young food that they had been given. Great, fantastic. And from their mouths, from which protruded countless ugly teeth, saliva, or maybe the traces of meat and wine that they had just eaten, dribbled down. As the piece of furniture let out a wild scream, it retreated, still sitting on its backside. But the circle of goat nobles was closing in. And the piece of furniture looked at the witch's face. It stared at her face one final time, believing that because it had submitted to the witch, she would show it some mercy. But there was nothing but scorn on the witch's face, and she wasn't even facing it anymore. The witch went off to greet an honored guest with whom she had crossed gazes. Oh, God. The goat nobles looked down upon the furniture. They were in fact waiting. Just like how one must remove the cork in order to drink champagne. Before bringing the offering served at the banquet to their mouths, they were waiting for just one of those. Of course, the furniture didn't know what that was, but it would come out of his mouth all by itself. In the same way there is always a pop when the cork is removed. It too would certainly leave his mouth. A scream. It was a sign that the modest banquet at which he was to be served had begun. Man, that voice actor! How does he still have a voice after this? Dice Kyoto knocking it out of the park, dummy. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, that's... Yeah, okay, we get it. By now the rose garden was a garden of roses and gold. A gold-colored garden. Ah, there it is, the song. A gold-colored garden where gold butterflies, gold fairies, gold lizards rampaged and flew about wildly.
Maria! Hayaku! Hashite! Hayaku! 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 Hayaku!
Holding onto the gun and the blanket wrapping the ingot. Rosa ran at a speed Maria couldn't catch up with, sometimes pausing to call out at Maria to run faster. Being Kinzo's VA is the definition of a hazardous occupation. Well, it seems like a battler is not far behind. Therefore, she saw it every time. She saw the golden pursuers chasing them from the mansion. The mass of gold butterflies was chasing after them like a massive crawling hand, and horrifyingly strange-looking shadowy figures with goat heads were chasing after them. There was no need for her to strain her eyes, because those blazing pupils told her what would happen if she was captured. Maria tripped over. Rosa, ashamed that for just an instant she had entertained thoughts of abandoning her daughter and running away, kicked back against the ground and instantly reversed direction. As Rosa's own child tried to stand, the goat head that had sprinted over to get the first bite grabbed a fistful of her hair and pulled her up from the back. Rosa rammed into the goat head with her shoulders, spun, bashed the back of her elbow into the goat's jaw and buried her knee into its protruding chest. And she thrust the barrel of the gun inside the goat's head's mouth as it doubled over from the pain in its gut.
私の目の前でマリアに指一本触れてみろ。元来た地獄が生ぬるかったことを教えてやるよ。
The blast from the 45 caliber long Colt bullet exploded inside the goat head's throat, and its medulla oblongata was instantly pulverized. Yeah, the goat head couldn't understand. It had thought that women were like already opened wine bottles. It had thought that they were wine bottles and that turning them upside down would immediately cause their deep red contents to come out. Released, Maria flung her arms around Rosa. But the pursuers were still coming. They could see the giant goat heads, who had given up even pretending to be human, running towards them from across the rose bushes. Rosa spilled several extra bullets which had been in the pocket of her coat all over the place and told Maria to pick them up.
Maria, ママがもし倒れたら、あなたは走りなさい。海岸へ行くの。そして、泳いで泳いで泳ぎなさい。この島のどこにも生き延びることのできる場所はない。
And you think she can swim across the sea?
ママと一緒。
Rosa's gun roared 4 times. But even though she really did land 4 shots in the chest of the massive, approaching goat, it didn't even flinch. The goat ran with a violent vigor, as though it planned to crush Rosa and Maria with its massive body.
弾を入れて早く
Rosa grasped the blanket with the ingot in both hands, and she herself sprinted at the goat, dragging the ingot along behind her, without even an ounce of fear of that strange-looking giant. If it's to protect my daughter, I'll overcome even hell.
見せてやるよ。黄金の夢ってやつを
Rosa's roar. The goat head's roar. The terribly heavy ingot, after picking up a terrible centrifugal force and speed, slammed into the goat head's cranium. Rosa pulled a fountain pen from her pocket, but she held it crooked. She placed it in her palm, in the gap between her middle finger and her ring finger, so that it stuck out when she made a fist, almost like it was a stinger growing out. She jabbed that stinger into the left eye of the goat head as its head toppled forward. Was the goat head's roar a scream? But Rosa's roar was different. She pulled back her fist and slammed it into the fountain pen that was still sticking into the goat head's eye. God, this is so... I don't know why it's such a tongue twister. The pointed tip was gouged destructively into the depths of its head. As I grabbed the gun Maria had thrown, I finally heard the thunderous crash of the giant tumbling to earth. However, at the same time, I saw the goat head pursuers on the other side of the rose bushes increase in number. I've gained some distance, more than enough now. Holding onto the gun and the blanket wrapped around the ingot, I once again ran with Maria. Why am I running with the gun in my right hand and the gold in my left? Why don't I free one hand and grasp Maria's hand? I can't let go of the gun that protects my body. I can't let go of the gold that protects my future. I mean, there won't be a future if you don't get out, which I don't think is gonna happen anyway, but yeah. And yet I would let go of the hand of my daughter, who is my very future. Run. Run, run, run. She got out of the rose garden and began to run down the staircase through the grove of trees. But Rosa knew. This path through the grove was only turning and twisting many times to make it seem long. She tore straight through it. She had always played here since she was a kid. So she knew. To the beach, to the beach, to the sea, to the sea, to the sea. And after reaching the sea, nothing to do but swim, swim, swim. If Maria can swim, I'll carry her as I swim. There's nothing but death on this island. As she raced down the stairs, she took a bad step. A violent pain ran up her left ankle and her mind went completely blank. Rosa fell down several stairs and stared in shock at her ankle, which was bent at an odd angle. And the blanket with the ingot wasn't there. She had let go of it the instant she fell, and it had disappeared somewhere into the darkness. Only the gun was left. The tremors in the earth were getting closer. It was only a matter of time before the goat heads flooded in. She didn't want to imagine how many there would be or how strange they would look. The lightly dancing gold pursuers arrived. The gold butterflies surrounded Rosa and Maria, sparkling and clamoring as though saying, "The prize is here, the prize is here." Rosa couldn't even try to get up. The violent pain from her broken ankle was so great that she couldn't ignore it, even in her last moments. What am I doing? I had the gold. It would have been worth several million yen. I might have been able to start over with that. And yet I fell, lost it, and that's not all. My own life is in danger, even Maria's life is in danger. What has my life been? I was born in an incomprehensible house, with an irritating older brother and sister since the day I was born. What did I do? No matter what I did or didn't do, I was always in trouble and bullied and made fun of. What has my life been? The roar inside Rosa's heart shriveled away and disappeared. It disappeared when she listened to Maria's crying voice as her daughter sobbed and clung onto her. Oof.
マリア、ママはちょっと用事を思い出したの。先に行っててちょうだい。
ママと一緒がいい。ママが死んじゃ嫌だ。
マリアはこんな悪いママでもママ。
Oh, sorry. I pressed too fast. Here.
マリアはこんな悪いママでもママと一緒がいいと言ってくれるの。
ママと一緒がいい。ママと一緒がいい。
あなたのことを一番にしているように見せて、いつもあなたのことを後回しにしてきた。運動会に行った、授業参観に行った。でもいつもママは世間体のことばかりで、あなたが瞳にいなかった。こんなママとでもあなたは一緒にいたいというの。こんな悪いママなのに。
ねえママ、知ってる？世界にママは一人しかいないんだよ。いいママも悪いママもいない。ただママが一人いるだけなの。だからマリアは世界でたった一人ママがいてくれればいい。そしてママにとってたった一人のマリアになりたいの。機嫌が良くて甘やかしたいマリアと邪魔だからいてほしくないマリアは別人じゃないの。マリアもたった一人のマリアなの。だから怖いママも優しいママも一緒。マリアにはたった一人のママなの。
私はなんてバカだったの。黄金なんかいらなかった。ただあなただけの手を引いていればよかった。私はなんて。
The shadows of the goats covered the sky even more than the trees of the forest. The roars blotted out the world with fear. Rosa, still hugging Maria, readied her gun with one hand.
マリア、一緒に行こう。ずっと一緒よ。ママが迷わないようにずっと一緒に。
すぐに会えるよ。ずっと一緒だよ。黄金鏡で会えるよ。そしたら一緒に遊ぶの。狼と羊のパズルで遊ぶの。ママはまだ1問しか解いてないけどマリアは全部解いちゃったんだよ。だからマリアが出題してあげる。
she had bought that as a birthday present and then hadn't played it with Maria after that night.
遊ぼうね。一緒に。約束する。
Those eyes, sparkling like red-hot lava, looked just like a group of fireflies. They danced, closed in, and attacked.
マリアが込めてくれた銃弾を食らいたいやつから前へ出ろよ。うおー
Yeah, it's a really good scene. It's a really good scene. But I don't particularly feel like going into the child abuse debate again. I think we've said enough about it, and I get new elements. Okay, thank you. I think what this scene shows is that, like, even if it's in the 11th hour, Rosa does like, is capable of recognizing what's most important. That's all. And everything else is exactly what Maria said at the end there. All of those Rosas together, they're the same Rosa. And like all the Marias that we've seen are just together one Maria. Yeah. We're all only human. Okay, I don't want this. It's fine. I guess we have new stuff. Tea party? We do that? Or what do I do next? You guide me. Do we check some characters? Tea? Tea. Tea it is. Alright, thank you. Oh, we have Rosa here, interesting. Rosa woke up from her doze. It must have been a very deep sleep. Her mind was fuzzy and she wasn't thinking clearly. Where was she? It felt like some mansion, but at least it didn't seem to be the Ushiromiya family mansion. She was in a room that looked like a parlor, and there was some tea that had been prepared. It had almost certainly been prepared for her. Right, profiles, sure. Sparkles like gold leaf were dancing around the room, and it looked very dreamlike. She eventually realized that there were gold butterflies, which made that stand out even more. There was someone across from her. Female. A lady. The witch of the portrait. She looked like she was having a one-sided conversation. She was probably talking to Rosa, but Rosa's mind was clouded up by a deep fog, and she didn't have a clue what was being said.
何でもよい。そなたが望むものがあるならば、そのすべてを与えよう。その強運への褒美と思うもよかろうし。わらわの求めに対する正当な対価と考えてもよい。そなたにとっては、全く大したことではないかもしれない。しかしわらわにとっては、それだけ意味がある取引だということだ。
What is she talking about? I don't know.
ただ、せっかくわらわは魔女なのだから、魔女にしか叶えられない願いを求めるのが利口ではないかと思うぞ。せっかくの機会ではないか。この黄金のベアトリーチェから恩恵を得られるなど。
Finally, Rosa started to feel the blood flowing through her body. Her movements were still sluggish and she couldn't even voice the words she was thinking.
わらわの通り名は黄金の魔女。 金蔵に与えたように山なす黄金を与えることは造作もない。何しろ人の世の快楽はすべて金で換算できる。すなわち黄金こそが人の世の快楽そのものなのだ。そなたは想像ができるか？生涯をかけても使い切れぬ黄金の山が。
The witch blew on her pipe and 7 colors of smoke covered the area. When she did, the inside of the parlor had suddenly become filled with stacks of gold ingots. It looked like a shining gold-colored wall. If each ingot was worth tens of millions of yen, how much would all of this be worth? It seemed sinful to even think of that number.
しかし人の世は難しい。どれほど空高く積み上げた黄金であろうとも満たされぬものがあることを知っている。埋められぬ隙間があることを知っている。わらわはそれをないがしろにしないし、それこそが魔女であるわらわにしか与えられぬ褒美であると考えている。そなたのそれをわらわが埋めてやるというのはどうか。なるほど、これはいい。わらわにしか与えられぬものだ。そなたもさぞや喜ぼう。口にせずともよい。そなたの心の隙間など顔に書いてあるからすぐにわかるぞ。
Rosa felt a touch of discomfort at this witch, who kept on talking even though she herself hadn't uttered a single word. But since she still couldn't speak well and found it difficult to even move a finger, she could do nothing about it, and wasn't able to do anything but listen.
そなたの深き心の傷はどこまで遡れば癒せるのか。これは深い深い。時に破片を飲み込んだまま傷口が閉じてしまうこともある。そういう傷は見た目には癒えていても永遠にうずきを感じ続けるものだ。完全に治すために今一度傷口を開くこともあろう。
As the witch spoke, she was staring deep into Rosa's eyes. What in the world was she peering at? Rosa felt uncomfortable, but she couldn't look away.
そなたの痛みはすでに生まれながらにして運命づけられたものか。これはなんともつらいものよ。言わずともよい。わかるわかる。
Gradually, Rosa in turn was drawn into the witch's eyes. Gradually, the world grew dark, spinning round and round as she was sucked in.
ローザ、ローザ、どうしてお前はそんなにバカなのか。
Ah, that's Kraus Nissan's voice. Kraus Nissan is very grown up, so he's very smart. So he hated the stupid kid, Rosa. And he was a very scary person, and I was often hit, and my toys were taken from me and broken. He would say it was a punishment because I did something bad, but I didn't really understand what that was, or why I was being punished. This is precisely it. When this happens to you as a kid, you don't get it. Like, nothing is gained from that. Like, there's no lesson to be learned because you don't understand what happened. That's the crux of it. I was always punished suddenly, and then after the fact I was told in a contrived manner that it was a punishment for something or other, but it was always something I didn't remember doing. Aha. So I really hated Kraus Nissan. Ain't that so?
ローザ、ローザ、どうしてお前はそんなにバカなのか。
Oh, that's Eva Nessan's voice. Eva Nessan is very grown up, so she's very smart. So she hated the stupid kid Rosa. And she was a very sly person, and I was often lied to, tricked, and bullied a lot. She would say it was because I was stupid, and that it was only natural for stupid people to be swindled by those smarter than them. So I wanted to become a wise person like Eva Nessan and listened to what she said, but when I obeyed her for some reason, someone always got really mad at me. So I really hated Eva Nessan.
Rose, ローズ、どうしてお前はそんなにバカなのか。
Oh, that's Rudolf Nissan's voice. Rudolf Nissan is very shrewd, so he hated the stupid kid Rosa. When Kraus Nissan was around, he was friendly with Kraus Nissan. When Eva Nessan was around, he was friendly with Eva Nessan. And when Kraus Nissan wasn't around, he was violent, like Kraus Nissan. And when Eva Nessan was around, he played dirty, like Eva Nessan. And even though he too was bullied most of the time, when Kraus Nissan and Eva Nessan weren't around, he gave me 2 people's worth bullying. So I really hated Rudolf Nissan. Oh, but these are my memories from when I was a kid. Quite a lot of unfair things happen when you're a kid. And you can't drag them out forever. In time, you bury them away in the far reaches of memory and forget them bit by bit. That is supposed to be what it means to grow up and become an adult. So becoming an adult is the same thing as separating yourself from all of those memories. And so, no matter how much time passed, Rosa couldn't become an adult. Even though she had been blessed with a daughter called Maria and was called a mother, she didn't at all feel like she had become an adult. The witch pitied that. And she smiled, saying that she could heal that pain herself.
どうやって癒すのか。可能ではあるが簡単ではない。時間を巻き戻し、そなたに兄と姉がいなかった世界を与えることもできよう。しかしそれでは、そなたは兄と姉に苦しめられた記憶が残らず、故にそれをもって褒美であると言われても納得はできまい。飢えは癒してこそ満たされる。飢えそのものをなかったことにしても誰も感謝しない。日々の飽食に感謝する若者がいないようにな。わかるか？
I think she just told me something really difficult. In short, even if she makes it so that I never had elder siblings, the pain wouldn't be removed. Maybe that's what she's saying. Strictly speaking, it's different. Healing isn't the same thing as removing pain. It's the pleasure earned from withstanding pain. Therefore, there can be no healing without pain. To know the joy of healing, you have to know the pain.
となれば、そなたの痛みに報いる喜びがいる。そなたは苦難の過去を誇っていい。苦難を知らぬ者には味わえぬ快楽を知る資格があるからだ。この快楽を知る者は同じ喜びを他者にも与えずにはいられなくなる。
The witch snapped her fingers, and even though the room was still filled with the mountain of gold, and was already like something from another world, a fabulous tablecloth appeared on top of the table, and wonderful cooking was laid out, almost as though it was the opening of a banquet in a castle from some fairy tale. For an instant, Rosa felt pleasurable surprise at how fabulous it was, but at the same time she felt a bit of anticlimax, because she found herself thinking that being bullied by her siblings couldn't be wiped away by just one meal, no matter how delicious.
食は人の快楽の多くを占める。
Yeah, that it does.
生涯生き続ける限り豚のように食い続けなくてはならぬ。一食で足りなければいくらでも。その心の痛みが癒えるまで美食の宴を続けようではないか。 始めろ、家具ども。
As the witch clapped twice, there were sudden goat head servants there, and they began to prepare the meal. From the beautiful food dishes adorning the table, they efficiently took some food and began to pile it up on Rosa's plate. It really did look delicious, but Rosa's body still felt as heavy as lead, and there was no way she could eat. Maybe they also understood that. The goat head servants tied a napkin around Rosa's collar and gallantly brought a glass of before-dinner alcohol to her mouth, and even tilted it for her. I don't like that. Oh my god, I don't like that. She remembered an old servant who had once carried rice porridge to her mouth when she was laid up with a high fever. She couldn't drink it well, and it dripped down from her mouth, but she felt the fragrant sweetness spread throughout her mouth.
ドイツ産の貴腐ワインにあやかった甘きアペリティフよ。白ワインを赤きゴールデンドロップで染めたワインカクテルだ。名付けるならば、ブラッディ・クラウスか。
I was about to say, crimson golden drops? How are golden drops crimson? Those are different things. Fucking... Oh, a bloody crafts.
そなたの兄を圧搾機にかけて絞り出した血のゴールデンドロップだけで染めてある。
There it is. That is why the mention of food did nothing for me here either, because I was anticipating some gross turn of events. There it is. Rosa coughed violently, and the bright red that stained her face made it look as though she had coughed up blood.
そなたは紅茶に詳しかろうから意味がわかろう。ゴールデンドロップとは最後の一滴のことだ。
Ah, okay.
紅茶で最も貴重な一滴と言われている。
Ah, okay, I had no idea. I'm
そして
really uneducated about
血
tea.
のゴールデンドロップも同じ。
I commit a sin of tea, I guess, every time I stream, because I have a large mug and I sip from it throughout the stream. Sometimes it lasts me for the whole stream, and of course the temperature is nowhere near ideal, so... Yeah. I enjoy it though.
人間から絞り出せる血液の貴重なる最後の一滴。あれにて絞る。
As the witch snapped her fingers, a bright red veil was pulled off something large, which had not been there moments ago. The solemn and massive machine there was just like a coffin for a large-sized person, with many large bulb-like things stuck to it, and it looked like a sinister torture device. Of course it did. By its unnerving shape, you could tell that it used manpower to tighten and compress something. And it seemed that there were still some squeezed dregs remaining inside, because of the bright red remains that stained it.
しかしゴールデンドロップは一度に一滴しか取れぬ。どんな人間からも一滴以上は取れぬというわけだ。しかしわらわは魔女。人を蘇らせることもまたたやすい。
When the witch snapped her fingers, suddenly the human compressor began to shake. No, you could also hear a groan. It looked almost as though someone had been sleeping in that man-sized coffin, had woken up, and was now struggling to get out. But that was wrong. What was inside was had definitely been squeezed dregs. Using her magic, the witch had once again revived the squeezed dregs to how they had been before they were squeezed. Three goat-head servants with muscular physiques approached the compressor and forcefully started tightening the large bulbs. As they did, an unearthly moan came from inside the coffin. Rosa thought she knew the owner of that voice.
料理は料理場でがふさわしい。もう十分だ。下がれ。ゴールデンドロップがどれほど貴重なものかお分かりいただけたかな？ それを集め、それほどに赤く染めるには何十人分も絞らなければならぬ。
The witch had definitely said that only one golden drop could be taken from a single human, and yet she had dozens of people's worth of golden drops from a single human. Only a witch could do this. The golden witch Beatrice could kill a single human endlessly. In other words, before Beatrice even death did not mean release.
二口目はいらぬか？この男に殴られて口中に滲んだ血を飲み込んだ日を忘れたか？そうそう、あの味を思い出せ。こぼし尽くして枯れ果てた涙の味を思い出せ。その悔しき思い出を癒して足りるアペリティフであると信じている。
Once again, the goat-head servants tilted the deep red glass against her mouth. Rosa attempted to close her lips in resistance, but the deep red liquid was relentlessly poured into her mouth, which was hanging open with shock, and the inside of her mouth was filled with a ghastly sweetness. I wonder if Beatrice truly thinks that this is helpful to Rosa's trauma. I'd be surprised, incredibly surprised, if she actually thought that it was. She seems pretty aware of herself and the consequences of her actions, so... I don't think she is being misguided here. I think she's being purposeful. Her brother, who she had thought of so hatefully and who had made her soak her pillow so many times, had died dozens of times over to tinge the spine crimson, so it must have tasted sweet. But Rosa tried to spit it out. Because of that, the deep red wine that spilled out of Rosa's mouth made her look as if she was covered in blood. If this ghastly substance was only the aperitif, Rosa couldn't help but feel uncomfortable about what would happen if this banquet continued.
それは旬の野菜による二枚舌のサラダ風だ。お前がいつか食いちぎってやりたいと9歳の誕生日の日に願ったエヴァの舌で作った念願のサラダよ。
Yeah, definitely. When Rosa heard the true nature of the pink-colored meat piled up in the salad, she had a sudden impulse to vomit her guts out. Furthermore, the goat servant stuck a fork in it and carried it to Rosa's mouth.
姉の二枚舌のお味はどうか？さぞや柔らかくとろけるであろう。
How sweet, soft, and enchanting it must have tasted in her mouth. After all, Eva's lies were always sweet, and young Rosa had always listened to them. So you could say that the taste of the stimulating pepper seasoning that had been added expressed the details of those lies well. Please don't take pepper away from me, okay? I really like pepper. Don't mistreat pepper like this. Rosa spat out the tongue salad that kept being pushed into her mouth, covering it with saliva. But the goat-head servants carefully returned it to the plate and carried it to Rosa's mouth over and over again. Yay! The image. I am so not hungry right now. Thank you.
エヴァの舌を5枚も惜しげなく使っている。
If I ever feel myself craving something like a snack in between meals, all I have to do is come back and revisit the scene and be like, nope, I'm good, I don't need anything, let's move on. Yeah.
舌は一人から1枚しか奪えぬ。しかしわらわなら何度でも奪える。
Okay, Beato, we get it, it's fine. It's okay. As Rosa's tears dripped down, she resisted, half crazed. However, the only way she could resist was by refusing to swallow. Even if she didn't swallow it, the taste of the French dressing increasingly violated Rosa's mouth.
お気に召さぬか？まだまだ料理は続くぞ。ルドルフの顔の皮で包んだスズキのパイ、脳みそを茹でたスープに肝臓のフォアグラ、デザートにも期待せよ。兄弟だけではないぞ。お前が信頼しにもかかわらず裏切った人間たちをふんだんに調理したこの宴をそなたの心が満足するまで永遠に続けようではないか。永遠。嬉しいだろう。 後ろ宮ローザ。嫌がるふりなんかするなよ。本当は嬉しいってのは分かってるんだぜ。笑いたくば笑えばいい。ムカつく兄貴や姉貴の悲鳴の生演奏がないとご機嫌になれないってんならいくらでも聞かせてやる。いいんだよ、いやいやで。それがお前の性分なんだろ。本当は全身が泡立つほどに嬉しいんだよ。なのに表向きは苦しんでるふりをしてるだけなんだよな。いいんだぜ。ここにはお前が気にする世間体も対面も何にもない。存分の大笑いして食い散らかせよ。最高の宴だろ。後ろ見やろうぜ。
Reminds me of Berto's unhinged rant when Shannon confronted her about love, yeah.
すまぬすまぬ。デザートを驚かそうと思って内緒にしていたが、やはり明かしておこう。明かせばフルコースを食べ遂げようという励みにもなるだろう。デザートはお前が愛しているふりをし続けなければならないマナ娘マリアとリンゴのオーブン焼きだよ。うまそうだろ。こいつを食べればお前は全てから解放される。自由だよ、自由。やっとローザという一人の人間として自由を得るんだよ。嬉しいだろ。嬉しいはずさ。よだれが垂れてるぜ。鏡を見てみろよ。
Suddenly, a muscular goat-head cook was holding Maria under his arm, and Maria gazed at Rosa with a face that was just slightly
マ
sad.
マ、マリアのこと邪魔だった？
邪魔じゃない。
As Rosa spat out the food that was continually being carried to her mouth, as she was covered with mess and saliva and blood, she resisted filthily and screamed.
ママがマリアのこと邪魔なら、マリア食べられても平気。だってマリアはいつもママにひどいことばかり。ママが男の人を連れてくる時も静かにできなかった。ママが男の人とお泊まりしてくる時、寂しくて暴れてお部屋を台無しにした。勝手に探しに行って迷子になって警察のお世話になってママに恥をかかせた。何日も帰ってこなくて泣いちゃって近所の人に慰めてもらってママに恥をかかせた。こんなマリアだからママの迷惑になってる。生まれてきてごめんなさい。だからマリアはママのために美味しいリンゴのオーブン焼きになるの。そしたらママに初めてマリアがいてよかったって思ってもらえるかな。マリアを食べて美味しかったって思ってもらえるかな。
What's the purpose of all of this? It's so...
美味しいよね。感類にむせべよ。娘がここまで行ってるぜ。マナ娘とリンゴのオーブン焼きなんて最高のデザート。これだけ美味しい食材に育てられるなんて、あんた最高の母親だぜ。後ろ宮ルーゼ。
ママ、今までありがとう。バイバイ。
待ってマリア、違うの。もうやめて、もうやめて。こんなの嫌。私はこんなこと望んでない。もうやめて、もう許して。いややめて。口に入れないで。
我がもてなしに満足してもらえたか？ならばそなたには認めてもらおう。わらわが魔女であることを宣言せよ。後宮ローザはベアトリーチェを魔女と認めると宣言せよ。
認めます。後宮ローザはベアトリーチェを魔女だと認めます。だからワリを返して、私を解放して。
ついに認めさせたぞ。小賢しきバトラはすでに屈服し、黄金鏡に招かれながらわらわを否定する愚か者ローザにも認めさせた。完璧だ。It's perfect。成し遂げたぞ、完璧な勝利を。さあマリアを連れて行け。ローザに美味なオーブン焼きを振る舞ってやれ。
うまそうだな。俺にはてめえの牛乳をスライスしてサンドイッチを作ってくれ。
その声は。
An arm grabbed the back of the witch's head and smashed her face into the table. Yes, thank you very much. As it did, the witch broke to pieces, turned into a group of gold butterflies, and reformed into her body a short distance away. Oh man.
バトラー、貴様、家具となって魂まで屈服していたはず。
そのつもりだったんだがな。てめえの趣味の悪いレシピに耳を貸してるうちに腹が減ってきちまってよ。魔女の丸焼きが食いたくなってきちまったのさ。
Yes, please.
それからマリア、自分を食べてなんてセリフは10年早えぜ。
Oh my god! What am I reading? I gotta say though, I appreciate it because it completely breaks the previous atmosphere. So yes, thank you, Battler, for once. Your bad jokes are welcome. Very
た
welcome.
だし、10年経ったら必ず俺に言
Okay,
え
that
よ。
part no.
約束だぞ。
That part no. Okay, let's move on. Poor Maria. No, don't promise that.
バトラ君。
待たせたな、ローザおばさん。俺は忘れてたぜ。こいつは俺とこの女の一騎打ちだったんだ。俺が屈するわけには断じていかなかったんだ。ローザおばさんが粘ってくれたおかげで再び戦う気力を取り戻せたぜ。
This man, he was broken to the depths of his soul and capitulated to me. I see. He doesn't know when to give up, just what I'd expect from Ushiromiya Kinzo's grandson. So, the chick of a phoenix is a phoenix after all. Oh, that's interesting.
威勢が良い。気に入った。そうでなくてはな。わらわの期待する後宮バトラとはそうでなくてはならん。わらわを否定してみろ。そしてそれをわらわは完膚なきまでに叩き潰す。何度でも屈服させてやろうぜ。一度靴を舐めたそなたに何度でも敗北の味を教え込んでやる。
上等だぜ、この後宮バトラ。泥をすすってでも立ち上がる男だってことを教えてやれ。
Yes, I agree, but he went too far with the You have to ask it from me. No, that's gross. That's gross by any standards under any context, okay? You could have just left it at the first part. It would have been fine. Jesus me.
俺は喧嘩で無敵だった試しはね。何度か負けてる。だがな、必ず泥を吸って立ち上がる。そして必ず蹴りをつける。男の喧嘩はな、負けを認めない限り、どれだけ叩きのめされようと負けじゃねえんだよ。一本取られただけで俺が参ると思うなよ。楽しませてやるぜ、ベアトリーチャー。
受けて立とうぞ後ろ宮バトラー。家具ども、次なるゲームの準備を始めよ。その間に貴様にはたっぷりと聞かせてもらおうではないか。こたびのゲームでは密室も多いぞ。そなたの逃げ工場のほとんどをわらわが赤で叩き潰した。その上でさらにどのようなへりくつで言い逃れてみせるのか。礼拝堂の鍵、ジェシカの部屋の鍵、使用人室の鍵、夏日の部屋の鍵、客間の鍵、お前らのお得意な奇想天外、妄想暴言空想はったり、とんでも超展開斜め上でわらわをとことん否定してみせろよ。
ああ、ダメだぜ。
全然ダメだ。
全然ダメだ。
Oh my god. I wouldn't have saved my cute disciple to Rosa anyway. I don't know where I'm supposed to start liking Beatrice. I'm sorry to say. I was holding off a bunch of fuck yous during those scenes earlier. So, okay. I guess we'll see. In episode 3, okay. The music is soothing, I like it. Thank you. Yeah, very, very cool song. The best question arc. Okay. Okay. Cited by fools who can't see the greatness of episode 4. Yes, yeah. Should I do the character profiles before that or after? 6 is undisputed best. Okay. Everyone has different preferences. That's totally fine. So far I have only been miserable, so I don't know. The question marks and then the profiles. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. I see. Yeah, of course. It's there's just so much nuance, depth, and the characters have so many layers to themselves that, of course, every single person is going to what's even the what are words? What is English? I don't know at this time of night. I know exactly what I want to say, I just can't find the word for it. It's going to connect. There we go. Every person is going to connect in their own way based on their own preferences and experiences and things like that. 2 has a lot of misery, which some people like and others dislike, obviously. I am willing to accept it if it sets up something good later on. If it was just misery for the sake of misery, I'm gonna be very disappointed at the end of this. I just hope he sets something up, anything. Anything at this point, even the smallest thing that can bounce off of this and go into something that I would appreciate for how well it was executed. I don't need to necessarily agree with it, but I need it to be well executed and have purpose, and then need this as a foundation of some sort, because otherwise I just, I don't know. I feel like my heart was just broken over and over for no reason. It's the least popular one, okay. Okay, the themes are always super important. Okay. Oh, I would hope it's that. I do appreciate the credits though, because I get the chance to breathe. Can you explain what you mean by that feeling? What exactly are your references? Yeah, music is super soothing. How much longer is there? Because I was talking about it with Bad earlier today, and it would have seemed possible to do it today. But if there's more than, I don't know, 15 minutes left of stuff, then I don't know if I can fit it in. Ah, okay. I see. 15-20 minutes. Okay, we can do it. She obviously won't stay a one-note cackling monster. Okay, well I sure hope so, because I'm kind of done with that. I feel like I've had enough. Is there a way to skip the credits? I don't think so, right? I'm clicking and nothing is happening. They should be done already, right? How many more credits do you need? No, it's okay. It's not your fault. Obviously. No. I waited 9 episodes, what's another 10 minutes? Ay, ay, ay. Mm. All right. Okay.
さて、お楽しみいただけたか？
No, I
こ
hated
たび
it.
のゲーム。
No.
ここまで一方的なワンサイドゲームだと見応えを通り越して退屈よ。
Thank you, Ben.
これは相変わらずお点が辛い。退屈を愛さないベルンカステル教にふさわしい迫力ある展開だったと自負していただけに、これは手厳しい。
迫力についてはまあ認めるわ。ただフェアなゲームとしてはひどいものね。もう少し対等な条件でないと。
勝ち目がないと言われるか、ベルンカステル教に。
どういう意味かしら、ベアト。
ごまかさなくてもよい。すでに知っておるぞ、そなたが傍観者でないことを。隠し通せているつもりか？そなたは人の領地まではるばるやってきて、わらわの逆の目に貼る不届き者よ。わらわのゲームを傍観するつもりでいて、わらわの敗北に熱く張っておるのだろうが。
She's looking at us.
図
She's
星
cute.
であろう。
だったら
実に面白い。あのラムダデルタ教を退けた最強の魔女ベルンカステル教と戦える機会を賜れるとは本当に愉快よ。
ええ、私も愉快よ。そこまで自信満々のあなたがボロボロに負けるところが見たくてはるばるやってきたんだもの。
なんと素直なお人なのか。それにしてもわらわと大ベルンカステル教との対決をただの一人の感染者もなくというのはいくらなんでももったいないというもの。
呼んだのね、あの子。
え？
見つけたわよ。ようやく見つけたわ、ベルンカステル。
ごきげんよう、ラムダ。あなたも暇ね。退屈を愛さない同士、再び巡り合うのは運命かしら。
バカな子ね。私に勝てたのはちょっとした運と相性の問題だとどうして気づかなかったのかしら。それで天狗になってよりにもよってベアトリーチェに喧嘩を売るとは身の程知らずもいいとこね。
Finally the true protagonist.
ベアトリーチェは強いわよ。私より残酷だしね。ほんのちょびっと。あとそれと人のことを勝手にラムだって略さないで。
ベアトもバカね。この子はあんたのゲームであってもしっちゃかめっちゃかにするわよ。
ラムダデルタ教には決してギャラリーとしてだけお呼びしたのではない。そなたがわらわと逆の目に張っているとお伝えしたら、今日はそなたの逆の目に張ると仰せになられた。
あんたまだ根に持ってるのね。
私は宇宙最強の魔女なんだから。でもあんたに負けちゃったから最強じゃないの。だからあんたと敵対する相手は誰であっても私を味方するんだから。
というわけだ。ダイベルンカステル教が相手ならばこの程度ではハンデにもならぬだろうが、余興にはふさわしかろう。
好きになさい。バレてる以上私も本格的にやらせてもらうわ。
それがよかろう。もとよりわらわの辞書に手加減の文字はないのでな。ラムダデルタ教、この度の貴重な縁を楽しもうではないか。
ええ、こちらこそよろしくよ、ベアトリーチェ教。こいつには私も散々に栄養飲まされてるの。私たち二人で叩き潰して2倍でお返ししなきゃ腹の虫が収まんないのよ。
こちらこそよろしくよ、ラムダ、そしてベアト。どういう勝敗になろうとも、これは私たちにとってとても有意義な戦いになるわね。
そうね、もちろん負ける気はないけど、私たちには勝敗以上に意義がある。
何しろわらわたちは退屈を愛さない。
The three witches giggled, cackled, and guffawed.
その通りよ。感謝するわ、ベアト。やっと退屈から逃れられそうだわ。せいぜい私を楽しませなさい。ラムダデルタと二人がかりで。
そうさせてもらうぞ。
そうと決まればベアト、早速作戦会議をするわよ。その子の弱点は知り尽くしてる。それを全て伝授してあげるわ。
にもかかわらずラムダデルタ教は親ぶれになられたと。
もう教えてあげない、教えてあげない。
Witchism.
退屈しない御人であるな、ラムダデルタ教は。
でしょ。面倒をよろしくね。あれで寂しがり屋なのよ。
なるほど、今流行りのなんとかというやつか。最先端でおられる。
もう行きなさいよ、あの子。あなたが追っかけてくるの待ってるわよ。
それでは失礼しよう。また次のゲームにて。
ごめんなさいね。厄介なのが来たけど気にしないで。それよりひどいことになったわね。私もラムダとのゲームでだいぶ悲惨な末路というのを経験してきたつもりでいるけど、今回のは群を抜いてひどいわ。
Tell me about
あな
it.
たが膝を抱いて心を閉ざしてしまう気持ちもわからなくない。こんな末路あと何度もやられたら100年を待たずに心が殺されてしまうわ。ベアトにカンパされてしまったから白状する。今のあなたはかつてラムダの世界に囚われていた頃の私にそっくりなの。過酷な運命の迷路に閉じ込められ魔女にいいようにいたぶられている。私はそこから生まれた魔女だからあなたの姉に当たるのかもしれない。だからあなたに力を貸そうと決めたの。しかし私の運命に比べてもあなたのそれはあまりにもむごい。同情どころか涙までもらってしまいそうなあまりに悲惨な運命よ。でもどうかくじけないで。ベアトになんか決して屈しないで。確かに
あの子のゲームはあまりに卑劣。ゲーム版を少しだけ見させてもらったけど、あまりに卑劣かつ狡猾な仕掛けで、その舞台仕掛けのいやらしさは多分ラムダデルタのゲーム版のそれをはるかに上回るわ。しかも恐ろしいことに、あの子は駒を刺すとき常に最善手を指しているわけではないの。ここがラムダとは大きく異なる点。ラムダは勝つために常に最善手で圧倒的な数の駒を指してくる。しかしベアトはたまにわざと手を抜いて駒を指してくるの。困ったことに相手の指し手から手の内を探ろうとしている私たちにとって、これは非常に手強い情報のノイズ。厄介な撹乱になりうるわ。しかしチェスに例えるなら、無駄な一手は相手にノイズを与えるかもしれないけれど、貴重な一手を損していることに違いはない。つまり付け入る余地はゼロじゃないってこと。あなたには信じられないだろうけども、今回のゲームもそう。
Yeah, it's very hard to believe that.
あれだけ圧倒的な展開に見えて、実は隙がある。つけ込ませたいかのように隙がある。それが罠なのか、こちらを試しているのかわからないけども、とにかく屈服しないで、思考を止めないで、あらゆる可能性を否定しないで。あなたが戦う意志を持ち続ける限り、ベアトに勝ちはない。魔女の戦いは守りが肝心よ。勝とうとするより負けないようにしなさい。認めたら負けなら断じて認めてはダメ。あなたに魔女を認めさせること、これがベアトリーチェの勝利条件の一つであることはもはや疑いようもないのだから。私もあなたの味方であると公言した以上、できる限りの力になれるよう努力するわ。あなたも努力なさい。もしまだ膝を抱いているなら早く立ち直って。こういう時なんて言ったかしら。そのファイトああ恥ずかしいわねこれ。
I pressed too much.
そのファイト
みぱー
Oh, that's so cute.
私がここまでしてあげたんだから早く立ち直りなさいよね。
いたいた。ベルンはいじけてどっか行っちゃったかしら。本当にざまあないったらありゃしない。それにしても相変わらずベルンが選ぶ駒はしょぼいわね。チェスだってそうでしょ。駒が全部ポーンだったら勝ち目ゼロでしょ。駒が全部ルークやビショップだったら絶対負けやしないわ。まあ前回は私がついつい哀れになって好きな場所から駒を進めていいわよって言ったら、ベルンのやつお情けの空気も読めずに手持ちのポーンを全部入場させた状態から始めて、何よあれ。あんなの負けでもなんでもないんだから。思い出しただけでもムカムカするわ。そんなわけでこの私はベルンがギャフンとする顔を見ないと腹の虫が収まらないわけ。そんなわけなんでベルンの駒のあんたがそんなざまなんで、私は最高にいい気分なわけ。しかもあの子はあれでいて本当に負けず嫌いだから、きっと今頃悔しくって歯ぎしりをして涙をポロポロ流してるわよ。本当にざまあないわよ。ほらあんたも一緒に笑いなさいよ。ちょっと
あんたまだ膝を抱いてるの？ベアトにちょっと本気出されたくらいでもうそのざまなの？情けないったらありゃしない。あんまり情けないからちょっとだけ力を貸してあげるわ。この宇宙最強で絶対の魔女である大ラムダデルタ卿があんたの絶望的な勝率をほんのちょっぴりだけ絶対に近づけてやるわ。感謝なさい。ベアトリーチェはね、確かに残酷で強力な魔女かもしれないけれど、この私の敵じゃない。なぜか？甘いからよ。あの子はあと数手でチェックメイトできる局面を作りつつわざと詰めない。くだらない駒を取ったり余計な駒を置いてより一方的な盤面にしてみたり、早い話が勝ちが見えると遊び出す悪い癖があるってわけ。あんたやベルンにとって辛い様々な攻め手のほぼ全てが私から見ればやりすぎの無駄もいいところ、つまりそれこそ好きでありチャンスでもあるってわけね。恐れるに値する相手じゃないでしょ。手段と目的を時に履き違える。そして悪い遊びが過ぎる。その結果、
Yeah, you can say that again.
自ら弱点を作り晒してさえいる。私のような最強の魔女から見ればなんでこんな余裕ぶったことをするのか理解できない。自ら勝率を下げてるなんてね。でもまあそのせいでベルンみたいな相手を読んでかわすタイプの魔女には非常に相性が悪いってわけよ。読みが効かないから。ベルンにとっては私みたいな素直で正直なタイプは読みやすくてやりやすいんでしょうね。ムカつくことに。まあでも私みたいな超火力タイプはベアトみたいな軽くて広い弾幕タイプなんか真正面から打ち破れちゃうわけだから、相性のじゃんけんみたいなものかしら。私がパーならベアトがグー、ベルンはチョキってとこね。まあどうでもいいことかしら。確かに私のパーはベルンのチョキに負けるけど、パーよりはるかにすごい超パーだったらチョキにだって勝てるでしょ。つまりこのラムダデルタ卿は超パーってわけ。
Okay.
少しは血色が戻ってきたみたい。ベアトのやつローザとかいう駒をいじめて遊んでるわ。一見すると本当に趣味の悪いやつだと思うでしょ。違うのよ。あんたが立ち直って戻ってくるのを期待して時間を潰して待ってるだけなのよ。
Super paper. In Japanese, you could also be read as super idiot. Ah, okay, interesting.
わざと憎まれるようなことをしてあんたの義憤を引き出そうという手ね。ああ、やだやだ、そういう子って。じゃあ私は戻るわね。あ、私があんたにちょびっとだけ力を貸したのは内緒よ。別にあんたを助けたくて力を貸したわけじゃないんだからね。
I mean, you're not tsundere, so I'm not gonna take it at
この
face
宇宙
value.
最強の魔女の私はベルンに負けて最強の座を奪われちゃったの。それで私はベルンからその座を取り戻さなくちゃならないわけだけど、もしここでベルンがベアトに負けちゃったら最強の座が今度はベアトに移っちゃうじゃない。
Ah, that's what she meant by super thick. Okay, okay, okay. I was just thinking of really thick paper. I was like, okay, you didn't have to say it twice, but like, okay, now I get it. Thick-headed. Gotcha.
まあ別に私はベアトから奪い返す方が楽だからいいわけだけど、それじゃあ私の腹の虫が収まらないのよね。ベルンは私が打ち負かす。そして最強の座も私が取り返すの。別にあんたに力を貸すわけじゃないんだからね。
Yeah, yeah, we got that. Thank
ベル
you.
ンを泣かせたら許さないんだから。
Which is it? Now, she is really fun. She is really fun. I like that. Alright, so we got pep talks, not just from one witch, but two witches, okay? She's definitely one of the fan favorites. Alright. I liked what I just saw. She's a Tsun. Right, so... character. This is where I'm supposed to go, right? For the character profiles? Yes, yes, yes. But, yeah. What am I supposed to read that's different? Execute. Okay. Ah, okay. You can execute all the characters to reveal new profiles. Oh my god. Okay, Kinzo missing finally reached the Golden Land he so desired. The idiot was once again unwilling to accept that. So the magic was spoiled for a second time. Even so, he was probably happy. After all, he managed to be reunited with the Golden Witch. If only for a brief time. Afterwards, he was crunched to pieces. Yes, he was. Inside the chapel, the records of that unknown. Seems stomach was cut open. Welcome, Maria. Happy Halloween. I think this is not that different. Yeah, these are kind of like the same ones, right? At the very end, she got to be the person she loved. She must have been happy. Yeah. We can execute Bear. No. It's futile for a human like yourself to dream of killing me. Even if you fire bullets at me, they will merely bounce back as though by a mirror and strike you down. However, there is one single way to kill me. You grasp this method in the palm of your hand. I doubt a mediocre fool like you could ever do it, of course. Alright. Okay. Died in Natsuhi's room with her forehead having been pierced by a weapon shaped like a stake. On the fourth twilight, gouged the head and killed. She got to spend her last moments with the man she loved. Aww. Where's George? Died in Natsuhi's room with his stomach having been pierced by a weapon shaped like a stake. Okay, 6. It's hard to say, but they might have been the second twilight. Alright. Goda. Died in Natsuhi's room with his chest having been pierced by a weapon shaped like a stake. On the fifth twilight, gouged the chest and killed. The chef's goose was cooked. Aww. That's not really fair. Do we have Kumasawa? Finishing touches yet to come. I guess that meant the thing in the ankle. They Shannon. Shannon was missing, but if the human world is what it is, then what it is not is undoubtedly fantasy. Fantasy depicts what they themselves fear. Interesting. The order of the killings in the credits was not the order we got to see during the story. Yeah, that is also true. We can't... There's no corpse, but he's dead. The witch declared it in red, so even though the corpse is dead, is incontrovertible. Alright, Genji. The unselfish piece of furniture sought nothing but repose in the Golden Land. However, since the idiot stubbornly rejects the Golden Land, his repose is unlikely to come anytime soon. Afterwards, he was munched to pieces and eaten by demons and went to hell. Great, fantastic, wonderful. Kumasawa and Nanjo? Ah, you're right. Ah, okay. Yeah, you're... Okay, sorry. My god. Yeah. Her corpse, which had gone missing, was later found in the courtyard. At that time, it was found with a weapon shaped like a stake having been rammed into the ankle. That finishes up the 8th twilight as well. Alright, Nanjo. Died in the servant room, but his throat slit by a sharp blade or something similar, but this alone isn't enough. His corpse, which had gone missing, was later found in the courtyard. At that time, it was found with a weapon shaped like a stake having been rammed into the knee. That finishes up the 7th twilight. Alright, Rosa. In the Golden Land, she finally found a treasure more precious to her than gold. However, that was short-lived. Thanks to the idiot, she would once again have to lose that which she had finally found. Afterwards, she was chewed into a pulp by demons and went to hell. Great. What's happening with Maria? Missing in the Golden Land, she learned that her mama still loves her. satisfied for now. Aww. Battler is missing, surrendered once to the witch, but pulled himself together and made the decision to fight once more. I see, so witches find Battler to be a toy worth breaking, then that explains why she breaks him a little, fixes him, and then breaks him again. Torture is meaningless if you kill the subject. You have to alternate between causing them pain and letting them rest. Holy shit. Oh my god. Yeah, this is the same as before. I think they're the same. Alright. Which side? Oh god, okay. Uh-huh. I don't know if this is different. I think it's the same. The Witch of Miracle. God, her dress is so cute. I really like it. Her vast power is capable of creating all kinds of miracles, but her heart has broken a bit as a result. Aww. Like when she was a human, Lambda Delta once imprisoned her in a cruel fate, toying with her the whole time. It seems that she's unable to abandon others who are caught within a similar fate. I like that about her. In theory, she holds the strongest power of any witch, but in practice that is no more realistic than saying that a piece of paper can reach the moon if you fold it 100 times. And fold it 100 times, she did. Aww. Lambda Delta, the Witch of Certainty, who has lived for 1,000 years, she embodies the idea that hard workers are rewarded and is highly respected even by humans. Ooh, now we see the bottom part of her dress. It's so cute. I'm looking like this because my mic arm is in the way. Very cute. And so many bows. So many bows. Though she is a witch, she does not stray far from the concepts of humans. For that reason, her power is, as one worshipped by humans, is incalculable. However, she is fickle about whose efforts she chooses to reward, and in many cases she bestows her favor upon those who can please her the most. Her massive, swift, and terrifying power can cause any witch to submit in an instant. However, she is often reckless, and Castle has been able to take full advantage of that. Okay. Ah, okay, so we have descriptions of them. Self-taught human mage. His natural talent and level of knowledge are nothing special, but when his nearly insane powers of concentration and dedication were transformed into magical power, he awakened as a great mage. His power is at least great enough that he was able to summon Beatrice and form a contract with her. Though his power is great, it is also extremely lopsided. In particular, he specializes in summoning and barriers, so perhaps it is fitting to call him a summoner instead. An unfortunate young man to whom Beatrice has taken a liking, a human who who inherited the black blood from Kinzo, inherited the massive resistance to magical power that Kinzo was born with. Ironically, it was this trait that made it so hard for Kinzo to succeed as a mage. A massive magic defense can be an ace in the hole for a battle against a witch. Kinzo has begun to lose this power with age, but Battler's power is still on the rise. Perhaps it's understandable why Beatrice tried to crush it as soon as possible. Interesting. Maria, a little mage who has inherited the black blood from Kinzo. Unlike Kinzo, she was gifted with natural talent and began to tread the path of the mage while still young. That said, her power is still weak, and she is no more than an apprentice. However, she is skilled with enchantments which bestow magical power upon objects, and the magical items she creates compete with those of the Meister class. Oh, alright. Very cute. Genji. Kinzo's earliest furniture, which he created to serve him. To serve him and him alone with complete loyalty. Though he was Kinzo's first creation, he was made with the help of a high-class demon, so though there were several flaws in his initial specs, he concealed a great potential within himself. In the many years following that, he began to mature and compensate for his many deficiencies, turning himself into the nearly flawless butler furniture that he is now. He is approaching the limit of his service life, but the magical power he can unleash for an instant rivals Kinzo's. Ooh. Shannon is Kinzo's handmade furniture in the purest sense, which he created without borrowing the power of demons. Though there were problems with several of her initial specs, she was given a very rare and precious thing, a heart. It seems that as a result of his long personal experience, Kinzo came to believe that the power created by the heart contains within it a strong magic. In the lengthy span of time following that, she began to mature, becoming exceptionally skilled with power of a protective or repulsive nature, such as magical barriers. There it is. Because of this, in the realm of barriers alone, she possesses an immense mage class level of power. Whew. And canon, the last furniture created by Kinzo thus far. Making use of all his previous experience, Kinzo managed to implement a set of flawless specs. Canon was also given a heart, but it was much weaker than Shannon's, perhaps because Kinzo felt a sense of approaching personal danger related to his fortune as he neared the end of his life. He bestowed Canon with the rare power to fight and protect. However, he hasn't yet matured very far and is unable to control his own power and speed. So much information at once. Yeah, it's okay. It's cool to see this about them. And yeah, I don't know about these. Personally, I am not super interested in them because I don't like any of them. They killed characters and they don't seem very nice. This is Lucifer. Okay. They're all furniture. Okay, great. Uh-huh. Also, they all have the same face but just different hair. That's all there is. I mean, I can show it on the screen in case anyone wants to pause and read it, but I am just too tired right now. The last line for each sister is different. Haughty and arrogant, but actually feels pleasure from submission. Is that it? Nothing but a jealous crybaby. She'll do whatever it takes to get what she wants. Okay. Good for her. Really grumpy, but actually wants others to get angry with her. Right. Thoughtful and hardworking. Because of this, she corrupts her masters. Oh, okay. Really greedy. Once she decides she wants something, she will sacrifice anything and everything to get it. Oh, in fact, a gourmet would use any ingredients to make a good meal, even her own body. What? Yeah. At that age where she wants a boyfriend, would give up her life for love. I mean, if you give up your life, you don't get to enjoy love, so I don't know what the purpose is, but okay. Okay, are we done here? I think that's it. Oh, we have a new background. Very nice. Very, very nice. And whatever was here, tips. Okay, so we have all of these things. Letters, which is score sheet. Okay, I get the score sheet. And golden butterfly brooch. In order to mediate the relationship between the opposite sex, it favorably edits all of their fate numbers and mediates their relationship. Since it is nothing more than a favorable edit, large differences can be seen in its effects depending on the individual. Ah, I see. Interesting. Hence, if the witch giving this item does not measure with care whether the target she will give this item to will be able to use it effectively or not, she risks being called a liar. The activation cost is enormous, and to many human beings it will be no more useful than a simple brooch. However, blind love pays enormous costs with ease. If there is goodwill from the other partner in addition, the effects will become even more dramatic. Ironically, the more dramatic the effects are, the less of a need there was for such a brooch in the first place. That is true. That is very true. Fate numbers? What do you mean? Oh, it's okay. Here I mostly like kind of skimmed some of the things that I was not that interested in. These we know already. We've seen them in the episode. I guess they're just here as a like summary if you want to go back to quickly see it. And the score sheet, yeah. Alright, cool. This is it for tonight. We're done. Oh my god, it's so late. Yeah. I'm gonna go crash. It was nice having you around. Thanks for sticking until the end. This is it. Episode 2 is done and we start fresh with episode 3 next time. But yeah, hopefully it will be understandable if we have maybe a shorter stream then. Because this. Yep. And just as a reminder, I mentioned it last week, but I'm gonna say it again so that it is said. Next week I will not be here, so there will be no streams for a week. Just we're gonna be on pause, so we're doing Thursday, which is the 13th, and then we will be back on the 25th. Yep, right. Aw, I love you all as well. I'm not gonna hang out much longer because yeah, we already chatted a little bit during credits, and yeah, this has been quite a lot. But yeah, many thanks to you for being kind enough to go on this journey with me and also sharing your reactions in chat. It's always a pleasure to have you around, and also, like, you know, to play off of each other, because that's what makes it all interesting and engaging. Yeah, the very beginning of episode 3 is all I need. Awe after this, I really need it, so looking forward to it. See you then. For now, night night. Bye bye.